And I'm really, really excited for today's work. This is something that I have put a lot of energy into. I put a lot of time into. I put a lot of thought into, and something that I am honestly very proud of. Something that I think has helped me a ton, not just with my brand, but personally, with my self-awareness. And this is a really big part of my philosophy as just a human being, right? I want to be a good human being. I want to do good things for the world, and I want to do impactful things. And I know a lot of other people do too. And I know a lot of other people want that to be their means of living, their means to provide for themselves and their family. And I think that this will be one of the most impactful things that I will ever bring to the world, to help people to do that. Looks like we're making some mic adjustments. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Okay. Let me know if that's better. I'll wait. You guys give me some feedback in the chat if the volume is. Give it a sec. I don't want it to be too loud. Alrighty, let me know if everything's good. Everybody's saying mic low, but it said still low. Louder? Okay, shit. Alright, we turned it up louder. Can you guys hear? We can hear you. Too low. It's okay. We'll bring the audio up a little bit. There we go. Okay. Sounds good. Are we good? Okay. Amazing. That is great to hear. All right. So to rehash what I was saying, what I'm bringing to you guys today will probably be one of my greatest contributions to this space, in my belief. I have worked so long on this. I have spent so much time to develop this process, and I know for a fact there's nothing like this on YouTube. There's nothing like this on a course or in college or anything like this, and these questions have impacted my life so much, both for my brand, the development of my brand, the development of my creative process, the way that I make content, the way that I have made clothes, the way that I've walked through life, but also these have brought me a lot of self-awareness as an individual that have helped me to be just a better person, a more authentic person, and a person with purpose. All right. And we're going to get really personal today. If you guys are here to, fuck around, then I suggest you click off this, because this will not be helpful to you. This is a very personal thing, a very deep thing, and something I take very seriously. So again, if you're not a serious person, if you're not serious about your own growth, if you're not serious about your own, endeavors and purpose and the reason you're here on the planet, then I do not suggest being here. But if you are that person, this will be probably one of the coolest exercises and processes that you have been through. It has been, again, so impactful for myself and my team. I've had all of my team members, my students, my colleagues go through this, and every single person has told me that it is one of the coolest things that they have been through. So I have a lot of stuff for you guys today. This will be, again, the most important day to show up to, and I'm glad that so many people showed up today. It looks like we're almost at 1,600 viewers, which is really, really encouraging to me, because I'm very serious about this shit. I take it seriously. You guys see from my content, from the words that I speak, from the way that I present myself, from my team, the way that my team presents itself, that we're all very serious about this. This has changed all of our lives for the better, and we do not take this lightly. So I need you guys to hang with me, all right? I know some of you may get tired. Some of you got other stuff going on. I promise you this will be more important, and I need you to stay at the end, because I've got some really, really cool stuff for you guys. I've got a free resource that we will be giving out live. This is a live event. We are not posting this on YouTube. This will not be reposted for people to view after. This is for you guys. This is for specifically the people who chose to commit to themselves and to commit this time to learning and growing, and no one else. And that is because this is very special to me. This is something, again, I put a lot of work into. I intend to write books on a lot of these processes and break them down much further down the line. But right now, I am sharing this with kind of the world, I guess, for the first time. And again, this has been so impactful to me. It helped me so much in so many different areas of my life. So without further ado, I think we're going to jump right in. I'm going to, can you guys see my screen? Phil, do you think you could help me show them the screen?
Yep, just click the first one.
Right here? Okie dokie.
Wow.
Sweet. So, welcome to day 2, everyone. We're going to be building you and your brand, all right? We're going to be laying the groundwork. We're going to be laying the foundations. We're going to be going into specifically things that I feel have just been the most impactful for me. Again, I'm not here to teach you the stuff that's on YouTube. I'm not here to teach you the stuff that you can learn at FITM, at fashion school, and we're not here to teach you the little bullshit, all right? So, getting into this, I'm gonna put my earbuds over here and see if I can get this rolling. All right, again, the most important day of the event. I've already expressed this. I believe truly that you will walk away from this kind of mind blown, because I personally did. So guys, we're going deep today. We're laying the roots, the foundation of not only building your brand, but again, building you, all right? Building a life that you wake up excited to walk through every single day, and building something that genuinely makes you happy, fulfills you. Because I don't do this for money. I hope that you guys don't do this for money, and I do this because it genuinely just makes me happy. I love doing photo shoots. I love making clothes. I love getting creative. I love making campaigns. I love strategizing. I love marketing. I love editorial. I love creative direction. I love art in general. I love sewing in different art that I appreciate into my work, and it's something it gets me genuinely excited. So that's what we're going to be getting into. So if you guys are ready, I want to see a yes in the chat. I want to see a yes in the chat. Fill up that chat with the word yes. Okay, saying make it louder. Maybe I'll bump the audio up just a hair more. There we go. Okay, let me know if you guys are ready. Audio's still too low. Let me bump this up. Hopefully, if I'm ear raping anybody, then please let me know. There we go. I love seeing all that engagement. Look at you guys. Yes. Okay. I'm very excited. Dude, it genuinely is so inspiring to see this many people show up for themselves and to show up ready to learn and ready to push themselves and ready to grow. That genuinely makes me happy and inspired. So I hope that I can inspire you guys in return and maybe inspire some new thoughts, some new patterns, and some new direction for you guys with this process. So let's get into it. So before we get into the questions, I want to express something, all right? There are 2 types of people in this world and 2 types of people on this live. And if you showed up to day 1 yesterday, then you saw that. There is type 1, the people who show up with 0 intent. They take nothing serious. They're here to joke. They're here to make fun. They're here to troll in the comments, right? You guys saw yesterday there was plenty of people talking about my mom, people talking about the stream, people talking about the information, people trolling, people hacking into my slides. I had 40 people that got into my slides yesterday and hacked me, and they tried to derail the presentation. And that is not the type of person that will leave here today with anything more than what they came here with, right? The type of person that I need you to be, the type of person that I believe myself to be, and the type of person that I believe will walk away from this with value is the type of person that cares about themselves. They wake up every day and they put themselves before others, right? They wake up every day and they put their goals before their surface level desires. They put their goals before their desire to bring others down. They don't care about what others think. They don't care if it's corny. They don't care if shit's corny. They just want to be better, all right? They just want a better life for themselves. They want better results for the life that they live, and they want to walk through life proud of themselves. They want to lay on their deathbed knowing, damn, I did everything I wanted to do and more, all right? I don't know if you guys have heard the song My Way by Frank Sinatra, but listen to that song. That is how I want that's the song I want to play on my deathbed, knowing that I did that shit, all right? And that takes being a type 2 person, right? Not a troll, not somebody here to goof off, not somebody here to hack my shit, right? To get attention. Those people are attention seekers. The hackers, the trolls, those people live to get attention from other people because they feel so poorly about themselves that they need attention, even if it's bad attention, right? Just to feel seen. Okay? But I don't want you guys here because you want to feel seen. I don't want you guys to leave here feeling unseen. I want you guys to leave here not giving a fuck about being seen. I want you guys to leave here knowing that what you've got is special. Knowing that what we uncover today, what you find out about yourself, what you find out about where your brand's going to go, is special, and I want you to love it. And I want you to love it so much that you take it seriously for the rest of your life. All right? So let's get into it. Very excited, very excited. Alrighty. One more time, we're going to check the mic. Let's see. All right. Everything looks like we're good. Okay, so this is not just about building your brand. All right. A large part of this is about understanding yourself. For the majority of my life, I have not understood myself. I have walked through life letting life happen to me without an understanding of who I am, why I'm here, what I'm here to do, and it wasted a lot of time for me. All right, I know everybody in here has kind of been through that at some point, is still living in that. I still do not fully understand myself, but doing things like what we are going to do today has helped me to understand who I am, to love who I am more, and to apply who I am to my creative endeavors, to my businesses, to my projects, to the way that I treat other people, to the way that I walk through life, to the way that I appreciate things. And it has changed my life for the better. And I hope to be able to impact you guys in a similar fashion. All right? So if you are someone who has not started a brand, but you know you're meant for more, or if you've already started a brand and you want to take it to the next level, this is the perfect place for you to be. I don't think that there's a better place in the world for you to be. All right, I'm a big fan of execution. You guys know that I'm a big fan of just going out and doing it. All right, but there are times to learn, times to reflect, times to uncover, times to observe, right? I spent the entire month of January doing that. I didn't drop for my brand for the entire month of January. I didn't place purchase orders. I spent the entire time learning, observing, and watching what other people are doing so that I could further understand what's working, what's not working, what I'm doing that's working, what I'm not doing that I need to do to be able to do better and to do more. And that is genuinely like where you guys need to be right now. All right. So again, if you've not started your brand, the idea is in your head, right? It's something you want to do, whether it's a clothing brand, a jewelry brand, any kind of brand in general where you sell a product and you want that product to be impactful to people. This is where you need to be. And if you already have a brand, right, but you need tweaks, you need fixes, you feel like there's something missing piece of information or piece of execution that's not pushing you forward, this is the right place to be. Okay. So to do this, I'm going to take you guys through what I call the 18-question identity framework. Okay. And the 18-question identity framework goes into a few different things, and I'm going to guide you guys through this. I'm going to walk you guys through this. Okay. And this is going to be very interactive. Okay. Except for instead of you interacting with me, it's you interacting with yourself while listening to me. All right. So what you guys are going to walk away from this with, this is what I hope, is number one, clarity on who you serve and what makes your brand different. A complete creative direction blueprint of sorts so that your brand looks and feels good and intentional instead of random, because there's a lot of brands that I see that are just not intentional, right? They're just like, they're like doing what they think a brand should do, and they look like how people think a brand should look, right? It's not intentional, right? It's not specific. It's not direct. All right. I want you guys to have clarity on exactly how you are going to execute that, right? And the tools and the blueprint that you are going to refer to when you make every single decision for your brand. All right. I want you guys to walk away with an idea of how to connect to people emotionally using your story and who you are authentically, the parts of yourself that you love, the parts of yourself that you hate, and the parts of yourself that you think can be recruited to execute a brand, right? A project, a creative project, a mission, a nonprofit, whatever it is that you want to make, right? And I also want you guys to walk with the exact framework that you will use to make every product, piece of content, every design, every caption, every email, every decision that you make for your brand. It will be basically first checked by this blueprint that we are attempting to create today, right? That you guys will be walking away from this call with, all right? And I will tell you personally, every decision that I make, every hire, every graphic design, every pattern, every supplier partner that we work with, every fulfillment partner that we work with, every printer that we work with, every like poster that we have made, everything that we do at pop-ups, everything that we do at our events, our parties, our conventions, every single thing that we do, me personally, for my brand, is referenced from the blueprint, which is going to be the answers that we are going to walk away from this today. So very, very important. This is why I stressed that this is the most important call, because this is the 2026 blueprint for me and hopefully for you guys personally. All right. And this is why I told you guys in Japan, I basically just wrote this all out. I just thought and wrote for like 3 straight days. All right. I didn't spend Japan like fucking off and doing a bunch of shit. I spent most of it by myself in the Airbnb that I had, writing this out and really stressing to make this as impactful, clear, and intentional as possible, okay? So let's talk about why this is important. I just did, right? But without what you are going to learn today, you're not gonna get results, all right? You're not gonna get results like what you see here from Benedictus. This is one of my students. This was one of his first drops. He did really good. Umair's been working with me for a long time. $2,000 in a day. He did really good. Olga is one of my favorite people I've ever worked with. She literally did her first drop and did $10,000 and displayed it. Insane. If you guys want to see her page, you guys can go look up Olga. Just go to my following and go to Olga and you can find her stuff. She does really great stuff, makes all her own clothes. But regardless, like, these guys have gotten serious results, and these are just people that I know personally, my students. And without what you're walking with today, that doesn't happen. All right, you guys can go make an e-commerce brand selling toothbrushes to people in Tunisia or something, right, with an AI created ad if you want. I personally don't want to sell toothbrushes to people that I don't know and I don't care about, right? But the answers that you receive today will help you to get results. Like my people have gotten results, like I've gotten results, like majority of the bigger brands that I'm going to reference in today's presentation have gotten results. And that's what I want you guys to keep in mind, all right? I want to give you guys as much clarity as possible. So if you guys stick to the end of the live stream, right now there is 2,500 people in here. Holy shit. That's crazy. But if you stick to the end, right, you will get, number one, a completely free resource from myself, and you're also going to get to watch a live interview with Christian. Christian is a friend of mine. He's done $120,000 in revenue across 2 collections and 3 drops, all in the 4th quarter of last year, right? So during like Black Friday season, all 3 of them sold out, and he's actually built a following on Instagram of over 70,000 people across his platform. This is actually his brand, Wood Grain Golf. He's done a really great job at taking what we're going to talk about today and implementing it into his brand. Like, he's done like a fantastic fucking job. Like, I'm like beyond proud of this guy, and he's like genuinely a fucking killer and can give you guys a really great idea on basically how he has taken all the information we're going to talk about today and implemented it. All right. So that is something I'm actually excited about. And then I'm going to do a Q&A, all right, at the end. And so yeah, that's going to be the framework for today. We're going to go through these questions. We're going to talk about each one of the questions. I'm going to share with you guys my answers to all of these questions and how I chose to answer them to be the most productive for myself. We're going to go into the free resource at the end. Again, if you're not live, you're not getting this. If you're not live at the end, you're not getting this. If you are not live in the end, you are not getting to see the interview with Christian, which you guys are going to get a lot of value from that. Again, that's a super fucking solid guy. And again, we're also doing the Q&A at the end. So be sure to stay the whole call for that. I need you to stay here because, like, again, I need you to see all of these questions. Like, these questions are, I'm telling you, they have been like so massively impactful to my life and to my decisions and my taste and the way that I consume media and the way that I create content. Just on an insane like level that even is kind of hard for me to understand. But regardless, even if I don't understand it fully, I know it's benefited me. I want to share it. All right. So I need you guys to stay all the way to the end. Again, this will not be recorded. After the live is complete, it's gone. All right. This is a live stream, not a YouTube video that's going to stay up. Okay, again, I created this for the people who want to show up for themselves. This is very special to me. This shit is like something that I care about a lot, and I wasn't even fully convinced that I wanted to share this yet. But before I go into the year, I just felt I had so much value in things that I had learned and observed over the course of December and January that I wanted to share this specifically because it just benefited me so much. And it's like not even the semantic shit. It's the stuff that like nobody talks about and nobody even thinks about or is aware of. I've just practiced a shit ton of self-awareness and have understood that these questions led to my understanding that has led to the good decision making that has put me in the position I'm in today. All right. So there's a Google form and it's going to be pinned in the chat. I'm actually going to pin it in the chat once it goes up. And this is mandatory, all right? This is the form that you guys are going to be using to answer questions, all right? And to go through all of the questions. So let's see. Where is the link? I'm looking for the link. There we go. I'm gonna pin this. And I want everybody to go to that Google form. And that Google form is going to have the link to the 18 question framework, and that is where your answers will be recorded. And this is for yourself, obviously. We're going to email you guys just all the Google form responses. But again, your answers are confidential. This will not be shared with anyone but yourself. They will be emailed directly to you, and they will not be shared with anybody on this. So all of your ideas, all of your personal like reflections, that is all for you. Okay, no one else. That is for you. Okay, so if you haven't already pulled up the form below, do so in another tab. Do it on your phone. That's what I would recommend. I would recommend you guys pull this up on your phone if you're watching on your computer, or if you're watching this on your computer, pull up another tab, or like pull it up on your phone or your computer if you're on your phone, right? Whatever, right? But again, this is to kind of collect all of your thoughts, your answers, so that you can understand these better. And if you feel more comfortable, you're always welcome to write these down in your own notebooks, in your own notes, whatever you want to do. All right. So first, we're going to get into some basic info, right? So just your name, email, age, all that stuff, so that we can send all of these back to you. And then we're going to dive in. All right. This is going to be fun. I am excited. Again, this is something I have not shared before, not nearly in this depth or in this format, and I feel it's pretty refined and something after answering all these questions. And again, I've answered all these. I sat down for an hour and a half last night before I even made these slides, and I answered all these questions myself. I spent an hour and a half just answering all these questions. I went outside, I walked around that pool for like 30 minutes. Cleared my head. I came in here, I sat at that desk and I answered all these questions myself, because I would never ask you guys to answer something that I could not answer myself, or I would not answer myself. And you guys are going to see all of my answers to every single one of these questions so that you guys can further understand how to answer them. And I'm going to go through how I came up with those answers so that you guys can do the same for yourself. Now, I don't want you to copy my answers, because that doesn't help you, all right? Because you don't have the same story as I do. You don't have the same preferences as I do, the same taste as I do. And even if you think that you do, it will not be executed nearly as good as I will execute it, because this is a reflection of me and who I am. It is a very like vulnerable, like intimate, I felt a little bit weird about sharing even some of this stuff. But if it's going to help you guys understand how to answer the questions better for yourself, I'm all up for it. All right. So I want you to be honest with these answers. This is very important. I want you to be honest with yourself, because if you are not honest with yourself, you're coming up with shit. You're like, oh, like, I don't really want to think about that or talk about that or like record that or write that down, so I'm just not going to answer it. This isn't going to work for you. All right? Don't write what sounds good. Write what is true. Write what is true for you. Okay? So, and I want you to keep in mind, we don't have all day here. I want you to I want to move through this quickly. I don't want to waste people's time. All right. I want to waste your time. Some people are going to answer these slower. Some people are going to answer these faster, but regardless, the form is for you guys. Right. So you guys can go deeper into this after the call. What I would recommend is that you jot down some first ideas, right? And you don't have to go into everything. Right. Again, I'm going to help you guys with showing you guys the answers that I came up with. But I want you to jot down what you can in the time given. I'm going to give you guys just a couple minutes for each question. We've got a lot to go through here, so I'm not going to take too long on that. And later on, after this call, tonight, tomorrow, I want you guys to really, really pour into that. And I want you to really devote some time to that. And I know you guys have other stuff going on. You got friends, family, things happening. All right, I understand life is busy. This is fucking important. Like this is very important. And I worked really hard on this, so I would like each of you to really like take care in filling out this form on your own time. Again, you don't need to have a fucking paragraph before I go to the next question, all right? But I just want this to be as good as possible, right? Okay, so number one, it is so imperative in 2026 to build a genuine brand. We talked about that yesterday, right? We talked about all of the people who are, just doing fake shit, you know what I mean? Like going on, doing what they think that they're supposed to do to have a cool brand, and everybody's fucking calling them out for it. They're getting crumbled, right? And that is not what we're going to do. That is not what I want to do. That's not how I would direct you guys into 2026. And like I said, I feel there is a massive industry opportunity for new brands and for brands that actually care about authenticity and about creating something super unique and special. And I would encourage you guys to really, really see this opportunity with me. Okay, see this opportunity with me. I am literally upping my life here in Miami and moving back to California before my lease is up. I'm leaving before my lease is up. So I'm paying for this fucking house before I'm even out of the lease while I'm still in California, because it is this important for me to lock in with my team, be hands-on as I can, double my efforts, and really, really like get going with this. All right, why are my slides like this? Okay, I think we're good. Anyways, okie doke. So, question number one. Does everybody have the form pulled up? Does everybody have the form pulled up? Okay, let's see. I'm waiting for a yes, because I do not want to start this if people are having technical difficulties or the form's fucked up. All right, I will wait. I know the playback's a little bit behind, so I'm going to wait until you guys give me a yes, until I see some yeses. I want to see a bunch of yeses in the chat. I want to see a bunch of people giving me, oh, there we go, confirmation. Alrighty, amazing. Sweet. Okay, I'm excited. Damn. Alrighty, so question number one is going to be, what is something that you have been through that changed how you see the world? All right, and obviously there's going to be a lot of things that have happened in our lives that shape our beliefs, that shape our perceptions, that shape how we see the world, right? But it's important to identify those so that you can understand the type of person that the world, that your life, that the things that are happening in your life, right, have shaped you. How has that shaped you into a different person, right? What direction has that event in your life pushed you to? Because we're all affected by things that happen in our lives, right? We are all affected by things that are going to change how we view people, in the same way that when a man or woman gets cheated on by their significant other, it affects the way that they see, potential partnerships in the future, right? That is a moment in a person's life that will change the way that they perceive other people, right? Or the way that they see the world, or their opinions. And that is really, really important to acknowledge. Things like that, right? So I'm gonna go over my answer. So my answer, number one, my mom's death shaped a very dark world for me to live in, and gave me the job to make work of that state and use it to make something creative and artistic that could help people feel encouraged to wear their heart on their sleeve and bust their ass to make something of themselves in spite of crappy shit, in spite of shitty circumstances. All right, that's kind of the first part of my answer. The second thing that I feel really shaped me into who I am, an event that happened in my life that kind of happened outside of my control, was the instability in support during my childhood that pushed me to build confidence in myself, and thus required me to carve myself into someone I trust and respect. As you guys know, I talked yesterday about my battle with reactive attachment disorder, and what that was caused by. My birth mother not being able to take care of me, so me bouncing around as a kid, not trusting anybody, because when you have nobody to trust, you have to kind of figure out how to trust yourself, right? And that was a massive shift in my life, because it really taught me like who am I going to trust? Pretty much just me. Like, I'm the only person I can trust, right? So that shaped how I viewed other people. It shaped how I view myself. It shaped my priorities in what I do every day, right? To build that trust and to adhere to that trust. It shaped my decisions in like relationships. It shaped my decisions in hiring people. It shaped my decisions in getting jobs whenever I was younger, right? My boss, my manager, whoever it was. It shaped a lot of how I move in my life. All right. And the third thing is, I built a life for myself with the help of God and created a community of people who seek betterment and look to get creative and romantic with the cards that they were dealt, make art and light of the shit that they got, right? That is an event in my life that I feel is like a massive part of the influence of who I am today, right? Doing that, like having done that, like whenever I reflect and I see what I've built in the past 5 or 6 years of my adulthood, that shapes how I move, how I act, how I think, how I feel, how I make decisions, and that's really, really, really important to acknowledge. So those are my 3 answers. And again, these are answers that took me a few minutes to come up with. And I know that, again, this stuff you're not going to be able to just rattle off the top of your head every single event in your life that's changed something. But I bet that most of you had 1 or 2 major things that happened in your life that really have shaped your experience on this earth. I'd be willing to bet money that every single one of you guys, I actually just spoke with a girl yesterday that messaged me after the live and said, hey, like, and I don't know if I feel super comfortable sharing this, but like someone in my life passed away, and that has really shaped my decisions. And now I want to build this brand because he wanted to build a brand and I want to carry out that vision for him. And like, that is a great example from someone else, right? And again, my example, that example, those are more drastic, right? It can be as simple as something like your teacher telling you that you weren't meant for shit whenever you were 16 in English class, or something as simple as your dad giving you a hug after your first breakup when you were 13 years old, 14 years old. Right? It can be good things and it can be bad things. I listed both good things, right? My mother's death, the instability of my childhood, and good things, right? Building a life for myself and reflecting on that and seeing what I've done, right? It can be good and bad, okay? All right, I think we're gonna move on to question number 2. Hopefully I'm not going too fast, but again, you guys have plenty of time to go back and review these questions further, add to them, all right? But we got to keep going. So question number 2, what is one thing about yourself that most people do not understand? Everybody has something about them that they feel other people do not understand. Whether we want to admit it or not, every single one of us feels misunderstood, whether it's something small or something big. All right. My personal answer was that I don't think that people understand the reason why the stuff that I make, as far as content, clothing, whatever, is as dark and grungy as it is. Some people just don't get it, right? I feel like that is one thing that's not understood, right? Is like maybe the tattoos that I pick, or the graphics that I put on a t-shirt, or what I put, on my lighters that I make, or my hats that I make, or my hoodies, or my jackets, right? So a lot of people just don't get it. I remember I made a denim jacket last year, and on the back of it, I referenced a Life is Pain graphic, which is a band, like a metal band from the 90s. And a lot of people were like, bro, like, what are you doing on the back graphic of that, right? And I understood it. I know why I resonate with it, right? I resonate with the band. I love the music. I loved what they created, right? But like a lot of other people don't, right? So I don't think that people understand a lot of the artwork that I like. I don't think that people understand many of the reference points that I pair together. And in the same way that I will make cinematic videos and I will pair clips and elements in the clips that a lot of people just don't get, right? It's like, why do you have, a gun leaning against your nightstand in your room and nothing in your room, right? Why do you eat this for breakfast? Why do you work out as much as you do? Why do you run instead of lift? Why do you box instead of do jujitsu, right? There's like, a lot of people don't understand just how I put my life together and how I put artwork together and videos together. And that is just something I feel like a little bit misunderstood in. So the third thing is I don't think that people understand the music that I use in my work. A lot of people just do not get it, and that is okay, right? And it's okay. That's the one thing I want to stress is feeling like people don't understand you and the reason you do certain things and the reason you like certain things and the reason you watch certain things and wear certain clothes and say certain things the way that you say them or make certain jokes or think certain things are funny, right? It is okay for people to not understand that, right? Because your preferences, what you like and don't like, is 100% you. It is shaped by your conditioning. It is shaped by the way you were brought up. It is shaped by the way that you view life. And it is shaped by the answer previous to this one, right? To the question previous to this one, which is, right? What are some things that have happened in your life that have made you change how you view the world, right? For example, we'll take Drake, the rapper, right? Maybe you saw a video of Drake being super zesty, and then after that, you low-key weren't fucking with Drake no more, right? Is that relatable to anybody? That's relatable to me, right? And that's an experience that I had that changed the way that I saw the world, right? And that's important to take note of, okay? Because some people won't understand that. Some people are like, bro, I love Drake, and that's okay too. You can love Drake, even if I don't love Drake, right? But it's important to understand that so that you can understand why you like the things that you like, right? Why you don't like the things that you don't like, so that you can feel more confident in that and really recruit that and use that in the process of building your brand, all right? In the process of creating in general, okay? So question number 3, hopefully you guys have done pretty good. And question number 2, if money was not a factor, what would you spend your time doing? If money was not a factor, what would you spend your time doing? Okay? This is an important one and one that I'm sure a lot of people have thought about before, but it's important to really, really think about this one, okay? Because if money wasn't a factor, the truth is that there would be things that I do differently. 100%. There would be things that I do differently, and that's 100% okay. Because we have to provide for ourselves. We got to pay the bills, right? But there's a lot of things that I would do that I don't currently do if money wasn't a factor, okay? So I'm going to go over my answers to this question. Number 1, I'd spend my time creating and making art and businesses that help people. Number 2, I would open drug rehab centers for people who struggle with substance abuse like my birth mother did. Number 3, I would write music and books that made people who feel unheard or unseen feel comfortable and understood in a way that they cannot explain. In the same way that there's lots of artwork, music, images, paintings, drawings, movies, whatever, that I just like and make me feel seen. They make me feel comfortable. They make me feel like, wow, this was almost like made for me, right? And then there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't feel that way. But I feel like whenever I come across something like that, like my life changes just a tiny hair. You know, whenever I discover something that makes me feel seen and heard, whenever I hear a song that scratches that itch, that makes me feel like, damn, like that touched me, that scratched an itch, right? That is something to take note of. These are all things to take note of and be aware of, so that number 1, you can seek more of those things, right? Number 1, you can do more of those things that can continue changing your life. You can start searching for more of those experiences. But number 2, so that you can apply those things to the way that you create. The way that you create for your brand, the way that you create for yourself, right? Very important. And number 4, I would work to become the best version of myself just to see how much God really blessed me, right? To see what potential threshold I can really reach, right? That is what I would do if I didn't need to make money. I didn't need to pay my bills. I didn't need to do anything, right? So that answer is going to be completely different for everybody. Again, don't just copy my answers. Really think about this, okay? We're going to keep moving for time's sake. But again, answer this more in depth later on. Okie doke. Now we're going to get into questions that are going to kind of help you build your reference system, your reference bank, All right. And this is how identity, which is the result of the questions that we're answering, becomes actual creative direction. This is how we take the answers of the questions that we're using and we actually kind of like apply them to what we're making, the content that we're making, the clothing that we're making, the graphics we use, the images we use, the research that we find appealing, what we apply to the development of our products, the commercials we make, the ads we make. All right. This is a really, really important step. Okay, so question number 4, what are 3 niched words to describe what you want to create? These words can be nouns, adjectives, verbs. They can be as broad as you like them to be, but I prefer to use niched words because niched words are distinct. Niched words are unique, they are direct, they're distinct, they describe something specific. Okay, and when you can describe something specific, you know exactly what you're after. You know exactly what you are using, all right? So I think that's very, very important. And I think that this one is one that will take a little bit more time. So I'm going to kind of go into something that I have done for this, some of my words and how I have applied them, right? So my answer was human, number 1. Number 2, imperfect. Number 3, badass, right? It can be formal as you want. It can be as informal as you want. It could be fucking, silly. It could be goofy. It could be super serious. It could be super corny, however you want to make it, all right? You can pick literally whatever 3 words you feel like describe what you want to make. You're here because you want to create something. You're in this workshop right now because you want to create something, all right? So I need you to think about what do you want to create and how could you assign that to 3 words, all right? And 3 words is all you need to start. From there, you can come up with more words, but these words will be used to basically, again, guide your creative direction, right? We're going to get into more of that real quick. So these are going to be used to guide the art direction, right? Which is like the creative direction, CD, whatever you want to call it, the content, the writing, and the general display of your brand. That's going to be the posts, the clothing, the editorial, which is basically just a visual representation of your brand, right? The ads, and here's how I did it, okay? So I'm just gonna show you guys my Instagram, and you guys can probably see this is my brand's Instagram, some of the elements that I personally included, right? Let's take the word badass, for example. We'll look at this post, right? And this is just like some cool shit. Like this is a compilation of clips that I put together from movies that I love and films that I love and videos that I love that inspired me, right? And I just really loved it. And this is where like you really just see like the badass element, okay? And people resonate with it, right? This got 4,000 likes, and for something that doesn't even like show the brand or anything, I feel like that's pretty cool, all right? So let's get into the next word. What's the other word that I used? Let's see, human. Or actually, we'll go with imperfect. So let's look for something imperfect that is actually cool, okay? The first thing that comes to mind is this post that I made, right? And this post is essentially just a collage of ballet photos and editorial that I felt really, really embodied that, right? This photo right here, this is beautiful. Ballet is a beautiful thing. Ballet is beautiful to watch. It's beautiful to see unfold, right? But sometimes it doesn't always look good. It's imperfect, right? Just in most of these scenarios. This picture too, I love that photo, right? That's where you kind of see this kind of like element of imperfection, okay? So let's look for the human element from what's in my brand, all right? I think one of the best displays of human would be maybe here, right? This is just going to be like a few people that I feel kind of represent the brand in a cool way, right? These are just humans, all humans. There's no things here. It's all humans. It's all characters. You know what I mean? And I've done that, tons of times. Another way that you can display a human element is in something kind of more like this, which is basically just interaction between humans. Obviously, this whole thing is just kind of built on interaction between humans and making it human, making it a brand, making the brand something that wasn't manufactured in some fucking factory, right? It's not some corporation that's making it. It's humans that are making it, and it's important to like understand that, right? So that's kind of how a lot of my verbal references, which is what I like to call this. I like to call these verbal references. you can kind of see how that has influenced a lot of my content and what I've made. Okay. So let's see if we can keep going here. Question number 5. Again, if you don't have your 3 words, that's totally okay. Your Google form is yours to complete, all right? You also can just write this down in a notebook. You know what I mean? You can write this down in your notes, wherever. And but I don't want to rifle on it too long because we got a lot of questions to go through. So now question number 5, right? I want you to list 3 to 5 fictional characters that you feel embody your brand's energy or the brand that you want to create. All right. And when I say fictional characters, I don't mean, it's not just fictional characters. It could be nonfiction. It could be public figures. It could be a celebrity. It could be an artist. It could be a cartoon character. It could be a movie character. But there is a character or a person in your mind. There is a human being in your mind, whether they're real or not, that you feel that you just resonate with, that you just like for whatever reason. You can't even fully explain it, but you either relate to them, or you respect them, or you admire them, or you're, fascinated by them in some way, shape, or form, right? You guys have seen movies, you guys have seen cartoons. We spent our entire childhoods growing up consuming media, right? You guys understand this. You guys understand what I'm saying. I'm going to show some of mine, right? So the first one would be somebody like Kurt Cobain, right? Kurt Cobain's an artist, and obviously he passed away a while back. But I always just really resonated with Kurt Cobain, and I never really understood why. And I think I understood why as I got older, right? And as I learned more about Nirvana, learned more about Kurt Cobain, who he is, why he is the way that he is, why the art that he makes, the music that he makes is kind of like grungy and kind of dark as it is, right? I learned more about who he is as a person, and I resonated with that, right? I resonated with the fact that Kurt Cobain had been through obviously some traumatic shit. I mean, there's tons of photos of Kurt Cobain in very poor emotional states, crying before every single show, right? I understand that, why his favorite movie is Paris, Texas. I understand why he creates the way that he creates based on who he is, right? Another would be Jax Teller. If you guys haven't watched Sons of Anarchy, Jax Teller is essentially the kind of like second in command of this motorcycle gang, right? Motorcycle club that he's in. His father passed, and so he's kind of like having to do this by himself, like grow up by himself, and he's sticking to this kind of like this like super like edgy motorcycle culture where they do things that he's not totally okay with, but he does it because he has to, but he has a desire to make positive change, right? That is like a character that I feel like I resonate with because he's human, he's imperfect, he does things he's not proud of, he's done things he's not proud of, right? But he does have a desire to be better. He does have a desire to make those around him better as well. All right. So number 3, Bodhi from Point Break. Point Break is a movie that most people have not seen, but Edward Scissorhands is basically like, if you've never seen the movie, it's an older movie, right? But he's just like a super like fucked up little dude. You know what I mean? This is what he looks like. I actually think I have a screen. This is what he looks like. His hands are like little scissors. Johnny Depp plays him very well, and he just feels like obviously like unseen. He feels like just like gross. You know what I mean? Like everybody who looks at him weird. And then one day somebody shows him some appreciation, and somebody loves on him, and somebody appreciates him for who he is, right? And I resonate with that. And I resonate with the fact that a lot of my customers and a lot of people in my community also resonate with that. Feeling unseen, feeling unheard, feeling like fucked up in a way that like not many people see the beauty in, right? The next is Tyler Durden, obviously. Fucking badass dude, like goes against the grain, doesn't give a fuck about money, doesn't give a fuck about like worldly things that push you to do things that turn you into an evil person. He is okay with being raw, with being unhinged, with being unpolished. He's okay with being dirty, right? But he's cool, right? He's cool. Everybody thinks he's cool. Why do they think he's cool? Because of the way he walks through life, regardless of how clean or unpolished he is, right? So yeah, those are going to be my character references outside of my mother. My mom, Sharon, she was my adopted mom, the one that I talked about yesterday a good bit, alluding to everything that she did for me, everything that she did for chemotherapy patients, everything that she did with her business, Care Packs, with her book, and she's one of just my heroes in general. So she's inspired me to do most of what I've done today in terms of good things for myself and good things for the world. So those would be my answers. So yeah, I think that that's going to pretty much wrap up that. Hopefully you guys have an idea of how to better answer this question now, and hopefully you guys can either do that now or kind of do that once you guys move into some time to yourself after this. So now we're gonna build your story. We're gonna go back into some of the personal stuff, less of like the artistic stuff, right? We're gonna actually like keep going further into like what who you are, right? And why people should care about what you're creating, right? And that's the biggest thing, is like people care about what people create. And the reason is, just real quick, there's so much fucking AI bullshit. There's so much access to making things high production and polished and perfect, right? We've got a bajillion editors, a bajillion AI, a bajillion CapCut templates. Everything is so fucking polished and computerized, and everything is inhuman in a way, right? And the appreciation of art is going to stop being, it's the kind of the standard for good art and good things that are created is going to move away from being perfect, something being super perfect and refined, and it's going to move towards something being human, something being imperfect, something being truly relatable. Because I don't relate to a fucking robot. I don't relate to AI. I don't relate to perfect editing and shit, all right? And neither do you. So let's not kid ourselves and pretend like we do, all right? So before we go forward, again, this is why this is important. This is something I want to cover before we go into this. This is just some sauce for you guys, something to be aware of. And that is the fact that brands with a founder face or story are going to dominate for the next decade. I have proof of this. I've done this myself. I've seen a million other people do this. This is something I would strongly encourage you guys to prepare yourself for. Most of my students have done it. Most of my colleagues have done it. Most of my fellow brand owners have done it. Most of brand owners in general are doing that right now. Brand owners that don't need to. Brand owners that already have a big giant brand that does millions of dollars every month without showing their face or showing their story as a founder, right? George Heaton, the guy from Broken Planet, like these guys are all making millions and millions of dollars. They don't need to show their face or show their story, but they're doing it anyways, and it's for a good reason. I'm going to explain this, okay? So if you are not, again, and to preface this, if you're not cool with being on camera, right? You don't want to be the face of your brand. That is okay. People have built brands without being the face of their brands for a long time. All I'm saying is that if you are willing to share your story, get personal with your brand, get personal with your audience, make your brand almost human, almost like an extension of yourself, kind of like an arm, right? If you are willing to do that and to showcase that the arm belongs to the body, if you are willing to do that, you're going to fucking crush regardless. Like that's like a cheat code right now. But you don't need to do that. And if you choose not to do that, then you just need to basically create a story and use art and come up with stories and come up with art that still represents who you truly are, still uses the concepts that we're applying today by answering these questions, just in an artistic format that doesn't include your face. And that's totally okay. It's just way easier if you do use your story and you do lead from the front, okay? Some proof of this is right here. This is my page, my personal page on the left side, and this is my brand's page on the right side. Now, obviously, these look like they were pulled from the same Pinterest board. They look like they were pulled from the same Instagram page, like two screenshots from the same Instagram page. All right, and this is something I'm low-key proud of. I low-key fuck with like how I've like kind of curated this, but you'll basically see that like my brand is clearly just an extension of myself. Right? And you can see the similarity. Like it's actually it's wild for me to look at because I don't even do this intentionally. I just operate them, I guess, in the same way. And it just comes out like this because my preferences are very clearly displayed here. The artwork is the same. The references are the same. You can see it's a lot of the same fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of the same looking stuff. You know, and it's because the same person's creating it. And it's because I create with my brand in the same fashion that I create for myself. The content over here is not to promote clothing, right? It's just to like post content that I like to create, right? The content over here is to promote clothing and is to show clothing, right? And it's basically, it looks the same. You know what I'm saying? It's this fucking spitting image of each other, you know? In the same way, I could point out other examples of this, right? Adi, right? His brand UVU, it's a running brand. I think they're based in Europe, but you can see this is his personal page on the left, and this is his personal page, or this is his brand's page on the right. It looks like the same fucking thing, like pulled from the same fucking like Pinterest board. Like it looks like the same because it is an extension of himself, right? He is true to who he is. He is true to what he likes, the colors that he likes, the images that he likes, the composition that he likes, the clothing that he likes, the visuals that he likes, and his brand is truly an extension of himself. And I'm showing you this to help you guys understand that when your brand doesn't look cohesive with you in general, right? What you create for your brand does not look the same and does not look congruent with what you would create for yourself personally, then you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. All right. This guy's fucking, I don't even want to talk about the amount of money that he's making, the amount of like traction that his brand has. He's the biggest running brand, like outside of like Nike and shit, that I've seen, like the most tasteful. I mean, great fucking example. Super great dude. Another example, Marcus Milioni. He is the owner of Minted New York. Minted New York is another running brand based in New York City. And you can see here that his brand page on the left is very similar to the brand page on the right, right? You see lots of beanies, you see lots of blues, you see lots of outfits, right? Even the simple shit like this, you know what I mean? Like the suit pic here and the fucking silhouette here, right? You see the mirror selfies, you see the beanies, you see a lot of the same shit. The one on the right side is just more personal because it's him. But again, this is just me displaying that, like, if you can truly be you, you can truly understand, what do I fucking like? All right, let me apply what I like. Let me apply who I truly am to my brand, right? And you can understand how to do that, what to do that with, the tools to use, which is what we're using this entire questionnaire to uncover and make physical for you to look at and for you to access and use, right? Then you could build dope shit, bro. This guy's fucking killing it. He's doing better than I am. Both of these guys are doing more than I am, all right? So let's get past that, all right? Question number 6. You guys ready? What experiences shaped you, right? For me, this is kind of going back into past stuff like we answered earlier. Number 1, my early childhood, living with zero trust for anyone. Number 2, my rigorous rehabilitation. If you guys want to know more about that, just look up Nancy Thomas RAD rehabilitation. You'll find out a little bit about that. Number 3, my mother's death, which was inspired by my philosophy. Number 4, my journey of growth to where I'm at. Number 5, every difficult period where I had to take risks. I misspelled that. Whoops. To push myself. And number 6, every period where I had to work harder to push myself. All right. These answers can be a lot more reflective of what you guys asked yourself earlier. This is just a way to kind of like build out more points and a way to double down on that so that you understand yourself and you understand what life has conditioned you to be a little bit better. Okay. So question number 7, I don't want to spend too much time on question number 6, but question number 7, the turning point. All right. What made you decide to build the brand? Like, why are you building the brand? Why are you building the brand? You need to understand 100% the reason why you are building this brand. If you don't know why you're building the brand, then what the fuck are you doing? Like, go do something else. You know, go do something else. Go do whatever you actually want to do. Like, you need to have a reason to do this. If you don't have a reason to do this, when you get out of bed every day, there will be no driving factor that leads you to building the brand. Okay, so I'm going to share some of what my answer was. Number 1, I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be happy, plain and simple. All right. Number 2, I wanted to build something that got me excited to get out of bed every day. I wanted to wake up every day and not feel like, oh shit, let me go be a zombie at my 9 to 5 and zone out for fucking 6 hours until I get home so that I can be a human again. All right. I wanted to do something that made me excited. Nobody's excited to go work their shift at fucking Lowe's and fucking McDonald's, or nobody's excited to go work their $200,000 salary corporate job where they sort through paperwork and do shit. Like, nobody's excited for that. I didn't want that. All right. I wanted to wake up every day and be like, yes, I get to go to work. Yes, I get to go ideate this photo shoot. Yes, I get to collect reference photos on Pinterest and Cosmos to come up with a cool creative project. Yes, I get to unbox some new samples that I got today. Yes, I get to go link with so-and-so and so-and-so to shoot a cool commercial. Yes, I get to get on call with one of my best friends so that we can make a cool treatment for a video that we want to make. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I want to plan this drop where we're going to release this new denim that we've been working on for 3 months. I wanted to, like, be excited to do that shit. Okay. Number 3, I wanted to enjoy providing for myself, which is kind of like another way of saying number 2. I wanted to enjoy making money, essentially, is what I'm saying. I wanted the process of making money for me to not feel like a fucking chore, to not feel like a hassle, to not feel like something that I have to do. Like, oh my gosh, like I gotta go back and do this because I need more money. I have to pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? I wanted that to be like something I enjoy. I wanted making money to feel like I was playing a game. Whenever you clock in and you clock out, it's not a game. When you're clocked in, like you do your work. When you clock out, you don't do your work and you go home and you sit down and you relax, right? I did not want that. I wanted it to feel like I was in a World of Warcraft, just like story mode fucking game where I'm like, I got to figure this shit out. Some of it's going to feel like work. Some of it's not going to feel like work. Some of it's going to be hard, right? But all the levels where I level up, like I wanted to gamify my life. And you can't gamify a 9 to 5 where you just do what you're told to do every day. You know what I mean? Like it's just not possible to do that. So I wanted it to feel like a game. I wanted it to feel like a game. And that's one of the reasons like I wanted to start a brand. And last one, I wanted more creative projects and challenges. I wanted to do creative shit. I wanted to make cool shit, right? And I didn't want to make cool shit so that I could get likes on Instagram. I wanted to make cool shit so that I could feel like my brain and my hands are going to use. You know what I mean? Like I was bringing the world something they didn't have already. You know what I mean? Like I was contributing and making my mark and like leaving a fucking legacy, you know, to my name in this existence that is me in the world. So those are my answers. This may be a difficult question for a lot of you, but it was really, really important for me to understand why, so that I could really, really feel that and be aware of these things so that I could move forward knowing those things were in the front of my mind, right? I want to be happy. I want to be excited to get out of bed every day. I want to gamify my life. I want to enjoy providing for myself. I want to create cool shit. You know what I'm saying? So, but let's keep moving. Question number 8, we're going to talk about the present, all right? We talked about the past. We talked about why we want to do stuff in the future. We're going to talk about the present now, all right? So what are you currently creating and why? All right. What are you currently creating and why are you creating it? This is a difficult one because sometimes some of you guys aren't creating anything, you know, but regardless of whether you think you're creating something, if you think a little bit harder, regardless of whether you think you're not, you actually are, whether it's creating relationships, whether it's creating experiences, whether it's creating food. Maybe some of you guys enjoy making really good food and putting together dishes. That is what you're creating. Maybe some of you guys enjoy putting together movie watch lists for you and your significant other, you and your best friend. That's creating. Maybe some of you guys enjoy planning trips, right? Planning things that you do on the trip to have fun, to make it a good experience. That is creating. Maybe some of you guys are writing yourself a workout plan for what you're going to do at the gym when you get there so that you can get the most out of your workout. That is creating. Maybe some of you guys are writing essays for your college assignments. That is creating. You need to understand and recognize that you are creating shit, whether you like it or not. And there'll be a small percentage of you that are genuinely just sitting on your fucking ass at home, like doing absolutely fucking nothing with your time. But like this should like make you think hard and have a realization about that if you are. But if you're in this call, I don't think you're that type of person. I really don't. And even if you're acting like that type of person, you're not that type of person at your core. I don't think that the 1,400 people sitting on this live are that type of person, right? So, my personal answer, I currently create content, clothing, stories, teams, and businesses to push my brand forward and push my limits creatively. I create to inspire and encourage people like me who want it but always felt like they weren't good enough to make things for the world to enjoy. That is literally what I create and why I create it, right? I personally don't write essays, or I actually do write, but that goes into the content category. I personally don't cook a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? I make my meals, my beef and rice, my eggs, my steak, right? But I don't make good dishes. I don't get creative with it. You know what I mean? I'm not doing some of the other stuff that I talked about. I'm not planning trips. I personally don't plan the trips. I have other people plan the trips. That's not my creative, where I choose to position that, Right now, I'm creating content, which you guys have seen. I'm creating clothing, which you guys have seen. I'm creating stories, which you guys have seen me tell through content and through clothing on social media. I've created teams, which I have 37 employees at this point for both my businesses. And I create businesses. And those businesses are meant to provide myself and the people working with me with a means to provide for themselves. And to solve problems in the world, right? And that is what I do to create. I create, and the reason I create stuff, right? Why? That's the second half of that question. The reason I create these things, teams, businesses, stories, content, is to inspire and encourage people like myself, right? And me doing that is my YouTube videos where I'm teaching about my processes. Me doing that is my Instagram videos where I'm hoping to inspire somebody to feel encouraged and motivated and want to chase their dreams, right? Stuff like that, right? And I'm really hoping to reach the people who feel like they aren't quite good enough, to make things for the world to enjoy, So that is this question. This question's a little bit harder. Will probably take you a little bit longer to answer. So I don't want to rifle on it too long. Question number 9, halfway through. How we feeling? Y'all let me know how you're feeling in the chat. I'm looking at it right now. I want to make sure you guys are still with me. I know this is a lot right now, a lot going on, right? But I want to make sure you guys are still with me, still tapped in, still tracking. Whew. Take a few deep breaths. I'll take a drink of my water. Throat's getting a little dry. All right. Hell yeah. Locked in. You guys are good. Fuck yeah. Good stuff. I'm glad you guys are at least not hating this experience. So let's get back into it. Question number 9. The future. Let's talk about the future. We talked about the past. We talked about the present. Now we're going to talk about the future. Okay. Where are you guys going? Where are you going? What are you doing? What's in the future in general? Like, think about that in a broad sense. Not where are you going tomorrow, not where are you going next year on April 12th, 2027. I'm not asking you where you're going first thing in the morning tomorrow. Not the grocery store, right? Not your cousin's house. Not fucking Europe, Japan, China, right? I want to know in general with your life, where are you going? What are you going towards? What are you moving towards? And if you cannot answer this question, then you need to apply all of this information so that you can figure out where the fuck you're going. Because if you're not going anywhere, you're not going anywhere. And you're getting left behind. 100%. You are getting left behind. If you're not going anywhere, like a lot of, people that we know that literally do nothing with their lives, never progress, never go anywhere, never move, never change anything, then you're cooked. Sorry. Like, I hate to be that guy. Like, I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but if you don't have a destination, if you don't have a mission, if you don't have something that you are working towards, you are like, and again, I'm saying this from a position of love and trying to help you guys find this. If you don't have this, you need to dig deep with these questions so that you can set that destination for yourself. Because I don't want to see anybody in this call live this life without having reached their destination or having gone to fucking hell and back to reach it. All right. I want you guys to establish a destination. I want you guys to fight like hell to get there. Okay. My answer was just simple. I'm going to build the biggest brand for people who share my state of consciousness, meant to say that, in the most fashion forward and tasteful way. That is my mission with my brand. That is the thing I care the most about. Obviously, I want to be a father one day. I want to have kids one day. I want to have a family. I want to raise my family. I want to raise my kids to be better people than I was. I want to have a loving wife that I care for and that I take care of and that I walk through life with. But overall, right now, what I'm thinking about is the fact that I'm going to build the biggest brand for people who share my state of consciousness, not the world's state of consciousness, right? Who share my thoughts, my experiences, my things that I care about. And I'm going to do it in the most fashion forward, tasteful way, in the coolest way that is like the most niched to people who have good taste, which is basically like knowing the difference between what's good and what's bad and whatever it is that you're consuming. And I want to do it in a fashion forward way. That is my mission. That is where I am going. Okay. So I want you guys to define this. And again, this one's a little bit difficult, but I want you guys to lock in. I want you guys to stay with me. All right. And again, you can fill this in later on further if you like. Okay. So now we're going to define what you stand for and what you stand against. And this is very important because this is where values come into play. This is where values come into play. And whenever you are building a brand, values are so fucking important. Values are so important because if you don't stand for anything, like you stand for nothing. Like you don't stand at all. Like if you don't stand for anything, like nobody fucking sees you, nobody acknowledges you, nobody's siding with you, nobody's siding against you. You just exist. Right? And barely at that. I know tons of people who don't stand for shit. They don't stand for anything. They don't stand against anything. They're completely and utterly just neutral, and they just exist. And they barely exist. And nobody cares about what they're doing, what they're creating, because they stand for fucking nothing. And you guys have seen, my shit's polarizing. What I post, a lot of people do not fuck with it. All right? And that's because there's something that I stand against. And there's also a lot of people who really like what I post, and that's because there's something that I stand for, okay? So the question is, first, what values does your brand stand for, right? What values does your brand want, like what values do you want your brand to represent, to wear on their sleeve, like a patch, like they do in the military, right? What do you want your brand to live and breathe? What do you guys want to show everybody, right? Because you have to show people something to get people to come and say, I stand with you. If you want that response, you have to show people something, okay? My answer, number one, authenticity. Real as shit, right? Number two, embracing what you love even when others don't understand it, right? Knowing that it's okay to like something even when a bunch of other people don't like it. Maybe your music taste is different than your friends. Maybe your friends tell you that you have terrible locks. Maybe your friends tell you, oh, like, I don't even like that movie. Why do you like that movie? Maybe your friends tell you, bro, like, why do you listen to what you do? Like, why do you watch the people that you watch? Maybe your friends tell you, why do you spend your time doing that? Nobody likes that. That's fucking lame, right? Whenever one of the guys that I work with Untamed, his name's Connor, and he does competitive bagpipe, right? And in the beginning, like a lot of people are always like, bro, competitive bagpipes, right? But I want him to love the fact that he plays competitive bagpipes because he loves it. And it is okay. It doesn't fucking matter what other people say. I want people to embrace that, all right? Number three, honesty with your preferences, which goes into number two, right? But being honest with what you like, right? Whenever you get in a car with 6 people, you're not playing what you think Johnny in the front left seat, in the front passenger seat would like because you want to impress him. You're honest with what you like. You're honest with what you would pick, right? You pick the song you like because you like it and you're honest with your preferences. I like those type of people, right? They wear some funky, bold shit out, right? They wear some weird shit to church because they like it, right? I love that. Right, so I want that. Oh shit! Actually, definitely bumped the camera. All right, I think we're good now. Okay, that's something I like. I'm a value that I'm looking to represent. Another one is embracing and romanticizing the rough parts of your life and your taste, which I've gone into a little bit before. But understanding like really what it is that you like, even if it's, again, unconventional or weird or edgy, and really embracing it, really embracing being okay with having a different preference, with wanting to do something different, with wanting to watch something different, listen to something different, do something different, okay? And then the fifth is a love and appreciation for art and music. If you don't like music, you're not my people. For real. Like, if you don't like music, you stay the fuck away from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want my values are really reside within a love and appreciation for art and music, right? People who call art corny, like, you're corny. Get the fuck out of my life. Like, for real. Like, I don't want to be around you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love art and music, and that's a value that I represent in my brand. And I think that's honestly a value most of you guys should represent in your brand. That's really fucking, like, you're making technically art. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that is my answer. Values can range from really anything, right? But these are my answers. I, again, encourage you to be really, really in depth with these. Question number 11, all right? What does your brand stand against? We talked about what your brand stands for. Now let's think about, what do you stand against? Because if there is no enemy, you're not at war. And if you're not at war, nobody gives a fuck. You need to be at war. You need to be at a strong point where it's like, okay, there's a struggle going on. I have to pick a side, right? If I'm watching a UFC fight, there's some, like, everybody wants somebody to win. You know, if you didn't want somebody to win and somebody to lose, it wouldn't be entertaining, which is why, like, they make so much money, because everybody has an enemy and everybody has something that they stand for, right? Paddy Pimblett fought recently and he lost. And a lot of people were upset because they stood with Paddy Pimblett, right? They stood against his opponent, I believe it was Justin Gaethje, right? And they stood for Paddy, right? And in the same way, this has been going on for centuries. Gladiators, fucking wars, all that shit, propaganda. You guys have seen everybody sides with somebody, right? People want to do that because they want to stand on firm ground. They don't want to stand on shifty, unstable, invisible ground. They want to stand on firm ground, okay? So you need to figure out, what does your brand stand against? This is what my brand stands against. Number one, fake shit. My brand stands against fake shit. Polished personas. I don't like that shit either. Mainstream appeal, because I believe it distracts you from who you truly are and pulls away from your authenticity. And trendy shit that ages out and never comes back. I don't like that shit either, because, again, that just leans into inauthenticity. You're just doing what everybody likes because everybody likes it right now. You're looking for everybody's appeal. You're looking to please people. You're not being authentic to yourself, your preferences, what you like, who you truly are, and that is false. And I don't like, I just like fucking honesty, like straight up, like, I just like people being honest with themselves, their preferences, and the world around them, okay? So yeah, that's my answer. You guys can literally put whatever the fuck you want. It could be, like, literally anything. So yeah, okay? Question 12. Why is it so important for you to make impact? I'm gonna say that one again. Why is it so important that you make an impact on other people, the people around you, the world that you live in, okay? And I want to stress this, because if you're not making an impact, you're invisible. People cannot see you. They don't give a fuck. They're going to, like, you're going to get ignored. And you're going to do all this shit for fucking nothing, all right? So it is very, very important that you make an impact. And why? And you need to understand why you want to do that. Like, you need to understand, why do I want to make an impact? Like, why do I want to make it? Do I even want to make an impact? Okay, well, I'm human, you know, and I want to die knowing that I did something cool, knowing that I did something good for the world. I left a legacy. Oh, well, how do I leave a legacy? Well, I leave impact. I make impact. I do things that are good for the world. I was a good person, right? I feel like everybody should have a desire for that, you know? So my answer is because, why the fuck else am I here? Right? Am I here to serve myself and to make me happier? I'm here to make my mark. I'm here to leave a legacy. I'm here to leave the world a better place than it was when I left. And I'm here to lie on my deathbed and let out a sigh of relief, because I know that when I meet Jesus in heaven, he's going to tell me, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." That is why I want to make impact. That is why I want to make impact. That one took a little bit of thought. But that is why I want to make impact. And I want you guys to think about that too, because this is really important. This is really important, because if there is no purpose-driven objective, then you're not even here, you know? You're literally just existing. I like, if there is no drive to do something, to make someone's day better, to improve something in the world, to change something, literally, like, why the fuck are you here? You know, you're not going to do anything great. Like, if you don't have a desire to make impact, nothing great will happen to your life. You will live. You will go out, live out the duration of your life, doing the same things every day, feeling the same way, talking the same way, doing the same things. And then you will die thinking, damn, what did I even do? Like, I could have done this. I could have done this. I low-key wanted to do that, but I didn't do it. Like, fuck. Like, I did nothing. I don't want to die like that. I don't want to die like that. So, yeah, that's why I want to make impact. Let's keep going. Question number 13. What type of person do you want to reach? And here's where we get to the really, really, really important, impactful shit, okay? What type of person do you want to reach? My answer is I want to reach people like me. I want to reach people who struggle to love the rough edges and be comfortable with them showing on the journey of growth. I want to reach people who struggle to really embrace the parts of themselves that maybe they haven't always liked, you know? I want to reach those people. I want to reach the people who maybe feel a little bit insecure about that, like the crappy part of themselves, you know, that feels like, you know, like, fuck, like I don't want to show this. I don't want other people to see this, you know? I want to reach those people. I want to reach people like me who have the same grungy punk music as me, right? Taste as me. I want to reach people like myself. And whenever and to explain, like, why do people like grungy punk music? It's because they've been through, like, crappy shit in their life. And the art that was created, the grungy punk art, that's created from people who had shitty, crappy stuff happen in their life, right? So that's where they were making shit from. And that plays into exactly what we're talking about. They made art, not the polished, happy-go-lucky pop shit that everybody likes, right? That the world likes. They didn't make that, right? They made art from where they were, even when it didn't look pretty. They made music. They made paintings. They made fucking whatever it is from where they were, from who they truly were. And anyone who tried to make music or make clothing or make art based on who they thought somebody else wanted them to be or thought that they should be, they didn't make it. They were a fake. They didn't make it because they weren't creating according to who they truly authentically were, right? So it stands the same way in this brand shit. You guys think it's corny using terms like art, pieces, all that shit. No. The clothing brand shit has to be art because that is the only way that it will like be meaningful and impactful to the world. Even if you're solving a problem, it's still fucking art because you are having to put the pieces together in a unique way that has not been done before to solve a problem. So that is art. Even if it's not cool and pretty, right? It's still fixing a problem in a unique way, giving the world something that it does not yet have. What is that? That is art. That is what art is. Okay? So we're moving along. Question number 14, what do you want to sell to them? Because you're building a brand. This is a business, all right? And in a business, it's not all about, like, you have to provide for yourself. You have to pay the bills, right? You have to, like, make the money, okay? That is what a business is. Nothing is fucking free. Unfortunately, we live in a life where the bills need to be paid. Your employees need to be paid, or like the taxes need to be paid. Everything needs to be paid, all right? So you have to sell them something, okay? And you want to sell them something because ultimately what you want to get out of building a business is financial freedom for yourself, an enjoyable life, an impactful life, something that you wake up excited to do, right? So you have to sell something. Now, the question is, what do you want to sell? And this is probably what you've thought the most about. All this other stuff, you probably haven't even given it any thought until at least this call, right? But this is probably what you've put the most thought into. So this will probably be the easiest question on the entire form to answer. Okay? So what do you want to sell to them? For me, my answer was I want to sell timeless clothes. I want to sell clothes that don't become cool for 3 months and then fade out, right? I want to sell stuff that I like to wear, not stuff that I feel like the most people like to wear or I feel like will sell. I want to sell stuff that like I like to wear, right? I want to make things with age-inspired features, lots of distressing, lots of washes, right? You guys have seen that from a lot of the clothing that I've made, right? I want to make pieces that will be worn by their kids after them, meaning I want to make like heirloom pieces. Like I want to make things that like lasted 20 years and that meant a lot to their dad, right? So they gave it to their son. My buddy Nick, who shoots a lot of my videos, he told me that his favorite watch was gifted to him by his dad, and that watch was gifted to him by his wife whenever they got engaged, right? That's something that has meaning. That's something that I want to make that, you know? And I also want to make pieces that make people feel more comfortable in their own skin. That's one of the biggest things, is I want to make clothing, jewelry, accessories, home goods, whatever, that make people comfortable in their own skin, that make people feel like, you know what, like maybe not everybody likes that, but I fuck with it. You know, I like it. And that makes it feel like more like home, because I feel like that ashtray over there, right, that candle, this lighter that I use every day, this bracelet is just like a part of me, and I feel like that makes more of me, and I feel like more of me equals better, and I want to live in a world that is more of me, because I want to feel seen and I want to feel heard, right? That's the psychology. So that's my answer. Again, take your time answering this. You don't need to answer it fully right now. You can get on later. That's okay. So, question number 15. Why are they going to buy from you instead of another brand that offers the same thing to the same people? This might be the hardest question to answer in the entire list, because this requires you to come up with a unique selling point. And a unique selling point is, again, a reason for people to buy from you, right? If I make a hoodie, this hoodie, for example, why are people going to come buy my hoodie instead of going to Ross and buying the same hoodie for probably cheaper than I can sell it for and faster than I can ship it? Why? What reason? What reason are they going to do it? Like, you need to come up with that. And this took me a long time to come up with, because I had no guide. I had no framework. I had no fucking 18 question blueprint. You know what I mean? I didn't have anything like that, right? I just had to kind of just fucking come up with it over time. And it was really hard for me to answer. And this is going to be one that you guys are going to also add to over time. But I've given you guys a pretty good head start, right, with all of these questions and the rest of the questions in this list. And I hope that you guys find this quickly, because the faster you do, the faster you have $1 million idea. Like, people talk about $1 million ideas. This question right here is where you will find your $1 million idea. That paired with the output of who you are authentically, what you like, the experiences that have shaped you, what you stand for, what you stand against, right? That paired with all of those elements is your $1 million idea. I am not here to try and help you to add an SMS list to your fucking website so that you can execute on an idea that you're half in, half out of. I'm here to help you come up with the $1 million idea, right? I'm not here to help you guys learn how to use a masking tool in Photoshop, right? To help carry out a very tiny piece of this mediocre idea that you have that you're not even crazy confident in, right? I am here to help you guys come up with an idea that you would put your life on, right? An idea that you would quit your job for, an idea that you would sell your house for, right? I'm here to help you guys uncover an idea that you would keep secret from everybody around you because you love it so much and you cherish it so much and you don't want anybody else to get it. It's personal, right? That's what I'm here to help you come up with, okay? So my personal answer to this question, and you guys can use this for reference, is because, number one, I will offer them a community that suits them better than any other brand can offer, right? I am going to, because my reference points will be more tasteful, and I will offer references to art that my ideal customer profile resonates with more, which basically means I am going to use things in the clothing and the content that I'm making that my ideal customer, the person who I want to buy from me, the type of person I want to buy from me, will like more than what the other companies use, right? Because maybe they offer the same hoodie, but maybe that hoodie doesn't have a graphic on it that resonates as much with the specific type of person that I want to sell to. That's what an ICP is, an ideal customer profile. And that's very important to uncover, which is why we talked about all the questions. Who do I want to sell to, right? You need to know all of fucking about them. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Now, these next 3 questions, you guys still with me? Give me a yes in the chat if you guys are still with me. Give me something in the chat. I want to make sure you guys are still tracking. I know this is some deep shit. This is some heavy shit, but we're getting close. We're getting close. Okay? Okay. How we feeling? Yeah, I know that Google Form ends here. I know this is the last question. The other questions are questions that you are going to write on paper. These are questions that you're going to write on paper that are more private and individual to you guys. These last 3, okay? Okay, amazing. Love to see that. Bunch of yeses in the chat. Amazing. Okay, we're good. Alrighty, let's move forward. Now, you can hit submit on that Google form once you have finished your answers. Not right now. I want you guys to take time. After this call. If you feel confident in your answers, you can go ahead and submit those. You're going to be emailed the responses, and you'll have a very clean way to look at everything. If you're not, I want you to think about them. Over the next 24 hours. While this is still sharp on your mind, while all of this information is still fresh, and I want you to try and finish at least the first submission in 24 hours, because if you wait too long, other things start kind of popping in your mind that distract you. Oh, I got to take the cat to the vet. Oh, my mom's pissed at me. Oh, my girlfriend, I need to talk to her, blah, 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 blah. Dilutes your focus. I want you to try and maintain focus on this idea and this thought process and this way of thinking for the duration of you filling out this form. Okay? So, again, the answers will go to your email, and these are for you to keep forever. And these are, and before we keep going, these answers, I hope you know, this is the 2026 blueprint I've been talking about. This is, again, we're going to go further, way deeper into shit, tomorrow too, into a lot more of semantic stuff. But this is really, really important shit. Okay. This is where you will base a lot of your decision making on every piece of content that you make, every piece of clothing that you make, every piece of fucking copy that you write. Copy is words, captions, emails, titles, the name of your brand, all of that shit. This is where it all starts and where it all comes from. This is where my brand started, right? And where everything that I make comes from. And again, you guys can see from looking at my brand, the clothes that we make, everything comes from what I am saying, right? Everything comes from what I'm saying, even down to the little shit, right? Alice in Chains reference right here. Super, super grungy graphic, right? It's from Alice in Chains, the band. Super grungy band, right? Stuff like this. You guys have seen, now that you guys know, this, for example, this graphic looks kind of scary, right? I feel kind of scary sometimes, but I love God, right? And that is kind of where that graphic came from, right? Stuff like that, communicators, right? That it all fucking stems from that, right? This video going over packaging and stuff, how I packaged everything, the buttons, what's on the buttons, right? My love for music, my love for rock and roll, my love for fucking Black Flag, which is where we reference the card. Everything stems from those questions, right? And even further questions that we're going to get into even more tomorrow to kind of build on these questions, right? And every single thing you see, this shit, as simple as this is, you guys can see this after hearing the answers to my question and understand it on a level that you maybe didn't before. You know what I'm saying? You guys can see this. What even is this, right? I don't know how to describe that to you except for by telling you the answers to those questions. This shit, it's literally just what, a lot of people are just going to be what is this? Which is why this doesn't have a lot of comments, right? It wasn't meant for everybody to understand. It was meant for me to understand. It was meant for me and the people who are like me to understand. And that's why the brand is successful, because I make stuff that's not for everybody. I make stuff that's for me. A lot of people are going to look at this party flyer, special guest boner boy. The fucking graphic, what is that? A nun? That's creepy. A lot of people will say that, right? But that's the whole thing. The whole thing is it's not about everybody. It's not about everybody understanding it. It's about me being authentic to who I am, what I like, regardless of whether it looks pretty to everybody, and sticking to it. Same thing here. A lot of people are what is that? What is that? It's the lead singer for, Black Flag, but a lot of people are is that a devil? It looks like he has a little horn on his ear. No, it's not a devil. It's a real person. But regardless, it's not meant for everybody, okay? This shit is not meant for everybody, and it shouldn't be. What you make should not be meant for everybody, all right? So moving along, let's kind of recenter a little bit. The truth is that building a brand, doing everything that we talked about here, we've gone in pretty deep, all right? But this shit does not happen overnight, all right? The results of building a brand come from hard work, dedication, clear direction, and a true understanding of what you want to make, right? And you guys know I've been documenting the process of building my brand for years now. You know, I've been documenting the process of building my brand, I don't even know, literally for fucking years. And now we're here. And you guys see all the pretty things, you guys see all the results, and you guys see all the fucking, you know, the money and like the lifestyle and the team and the trips and going to China, going to Japan, going to Complex Con, throwing parties, right? You guys see all the pretty stuff, but what you don't see are the hours that I spend in front of this computer. What you don't see are the $90,000 credit card bills that I have to pay every single month. What you don't see is the text message that I get from a fulfillment manager, you know, that's telling me, hey, we've got this, and this problem. You've got to fix this, and you got to fix this, and you got to understand this. And I've got to say, okay, let me lock in, let me fix that shit, right? You don't see that stuff. You don't see whenever I got scammed by a manufacturer in 2023 and lost $30,000 in the snap of a finger, right? You guys don't see that, but that's what it took for me, right? That is the difficulty that goes into making this shit, right? And work that shows that results is work like this, right? So my student Tyler, been working with him for about a year. This was his first Black Friday. He had a $15,000 day, which was like fucking sick. Eli, who has actually a really, really sick brand. I love what he does. He makes he makes streetwear for dancers. Had his first job. Cool little $1,000 day, which is cool, right? This isn't Connor. This is Umair. Umair's been with us for a long ass time. He's been killing it for a fucking minute now. Like he's like one of the hardest workers that I've worked with, that I've you know talked to. He's funny as hell too. But yeah, he's crushing it. Braden, this isn't Braden, this is Connor again. Oh, that's why I got him screwed up. These are supposed to be down. But yeah, this is actually Connor. Connor grew his brand Faith Drives, hit 100K this year. That was like a really proud moment for me. Braden, he got his stuff on a runway at Paris Fashion Week, which is fucking insane, which is crazy considering that's like supposed to be like the best of fashion, right? Like where the best of fashion is presented. But I need, like, you see all the results, you see all the people like winning and shit, but I need you to understand that each of these brand owners have thoroughly asked these next 3 questions that I'm going to ask you guys, thoroughly answered these next 3 questions that I'm going to ask you guys, and they dug deep. To get all that stuff, to make all that happen, they dug deep, right? And these are not on the Google form. These are for you personally. These aren't for me or for your email or for the Google or whatever the fuck. This is for you personally, all right? You can answer these in your head. You can answer these on paper. You can answer these how you like, but these are for you personally, okay? Sorry, I need a little sip of water. Throat's a little dry. I would consider these questions to be the most important that I'm going to ask you to answer. And I need you to be really, really honest with yourself, okay? And again, we're in some deep shit. I know we all feel it. I know we're all here. I know we're all fucking deep, okay? Question number one, why do you want to be different? I know that a lot of people will be like, oh, well, like, because I don't want to be like everybody else. No, all right? That's bullshit. Why do you want to be different? Rooted inside of you. And you can think on this. You don't have to answer this right now, but why do you want to be different? Is it because you don't like everybody else? Is it because you don't like who you truly are, who you are right now? Is it because you don't like your dad? Is it because you don't like your friend that you're watching, you know, throw away his life, or you don't like your friend that you're watching cheat on his girlfriend, or you don't like, you know, your cousin that you're watching go through like heroin withdrawals? Like, why do you want to be different? Everybody has a reason. All right, why do you want to be different from everybody else? I have already clearly stated my reasons. I've told you guys exactly why I want to be different. I've told you guys exactly why I do what I do, why I have the goals that I have. I've told you guys exactly, like to a T, exactly what I want and why I want it. All right? So I want you to answer that question, okay? And I'm going to let's talk about why being different is key, all right? Number one, being who you truly are, right? Being who you truly are and listening and answering to the voice in your head, because we all have a voice in our heads, all right? And that voice in our heads is who we are, not who the world wants us to be, not what social media tells us to be, not what our parents tell us to be, all right? Why you want to build something different, that's important as well, and why you want to make impact. We already talked about these things, okay? But I want to bring these back to your attention, all right? Being different and building something different comes with responsibilities, which leads me to my next question, okay? Because being different is not easy, all right? Being in my position where I feel like I'm different than I used to be, and I'm different from, where I was. It's not easy. It comes with a lot of responsibility. It comes with a lot of faith in yourself, and it comes with a lot of work and choices that you probably don't know that you need to make and didn't know that you needed to make before you had responsibility, okay? The next question is, are you willing to accept the past and actively work towards becoming the person that you need to be? And I say that again, are you willing to accept the past and actively work towards becoming the person that you need to be? And a lot of people are disregarding this question, maybe the last question too, because they seem so ooh-woo, right? But they're not. They're not ooh-woo, and they are serious. And I take these questions seriously. And if you're here, then more than likely you want to learn something from me, and I'm telling you this is important to ask yourself, okay? So are you willing to accept the past and actively work towards becoming the person you need to be? And the reason this is so important is because if you cannot inhabit this frame of mind, then everything I'm telling you here means absolutely fucking nothing. Everything I'm telling you here means absolutely nothing. You are going to take this information and you're going to do fucking nothing with it. You're going to do absolutely not shit with it. Maybe you'll put in 30 minutes looking over it or rewatching a video or going on YouTube or going on ChatGPT and asking a question. But if that's what you do after this, then number one, you're not willing to accept the past and actively work towards becoming the person you need to be. You think you're already that person, and that's what a lot of people's problem is. That's what my problem used to be. I thought I was already that person. I thought I was the man, right? I was getting girls. I had a little bit of money in my bank account, right? I was making people laugh. I had views. I had followers on social media. I'm thinking back, right? Back to when I was doing YouTube pranks and fucking moaning in people's ears in Walmart and shit for views on YouTube, and going and cold talking to random girls at the gym for views on YouTube, right? That is who I used to be. And at that time, I was unwilling to accept the past and actively move towards becoming the person I needed to be. And then my life changed. Something happened in my life, and we'll get deep into that, but something happened, and I was like, oh shit, I actually don't like the person I am right now. And I like parts of the person I am right now, but I think I could be better. I think I could do more. And I think I want to do more. I think I'm going to do more. Right? And that's where I started actively working towards becoming the person I need to be. Okay? I'm seeing a lot of ones. I like to see ones. I like to see you guys with me, here, attentive. So I could have been held down by the past, but yeah, that's fucking lame. I could have been like, oh, well, I'm already getting views on YouTube for being a prankster and being a degenerate fuck, right? That's fucking lame. That's lame, all right? Accepting who you are, knowing that you don't like all of who you are and not making a change because you feel held down to what it is, that's lame. It's a choice. It's a choice. Changing your life is a choice. Making a decision to actively work towards your goals and who you want to be is a choice, okay? It is not it's not something that happens to you. A lot of people think, oh, well, one day life will teach me the right lesson. One day I'm just going to wake up and feel different. No, that is not how life works. That is not how life fucking works, right? You have to make a conscious choice. I am I'm going to let go of who I am, let go of what I don't like about myself. I'm going to make a choice to actively push and move forward. All right? That is a conscious choice. I almost muted my mic. Sorry, guys. Final question, number 3. Are you willing to go through the hardships and responsibilities to become that person? All right? Are you willing to put in work, to take on responsibility, to go through difficult things to become that person? If so, I want you to type yes in the chat. I want to see, I better see some fucking yeses, because if you're not willing to become that person, why are you here? Why are you here? There's no reason. All right. I need you to accept the fact this is not going to be easy. Changing my life in a way that is adherent to my dreams is not going to be easy. It's never going to happen to me. Nobody's going to hand it to me on a silver platter. I am going to have to work and go through hard shit to get to where I need to go. All right. The only reason I'm here where I am today is because I have dealt with pressure that I don't even want to talk about. I have dealt with difficult things and times where I had to do things that I was so fucking scared of. I had to take risks that I was so fucking scared of. Do you know how stressful it is to have $5,000 in your bank account and have to place a purchase order for $40,000 that you don't have, and have to ask your friend for money to do that so that you can have enough money so that you can be able to like make it through the rest of the year and pay your bills, right? That's a decision I had to make. And that was a decision I made because like I'm just insane, right? You don't have to make that decision. I'm insane, but like that is the decision. This is the type of like hard shit I'm talking about, right? That's what I have done to get to where I am today, right? And a lot of people will look and be like, oh, well, like, you got the nice stuff, nice cars, nice house, blah blah blah. You have a good team, good brand. Like you probably got money from your dad, or you're probably like blah 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 blah. My dad kicked me out of my house and abandoned me when I was 17 years old. Maybe I was about to turn 18. He just kicked me out of my house and said, "Don't come back." All right, I didn't have shit from anyone. I didn't have connections. I didn't have money. I didn't have a savings. I actually got kicked out of my house when I was like $4,000 in debt, because I was trying all this entrepreneur shit. I fucking got caught in a multi-level marketing scheme, and I had bought this water machine because I was going to go sell the water machines to people. And then I got kicked out of the thingy because it was actually a scam to fucking get me to pay them for. I was fucked. I had no leverage. Okay. So I want you to throw away any excuses that you're making in your mind of why anybody is in the position they are today, because you don't know their story. All right. Sometimes, yeah, there's people who get lucky in this life. Sometimes there's people who have handouts and have nice childhoods and have nice things that happen in their life that really like, help them get ahead. But that's not fucking me. And I would be willing to bet 90% of the people in here, it's not you either. All right. So making an excuse for the 10 or less percent of people in here, right? Or for yourself, because the 10 or less percent of people in here have a leg up on you, and accepting that you are like, it's not meant for you, that's fucking stupid. Like, it's dumb. All right. It is lazy. That's some pussy shit for real. Like, straight up. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of yeses, which I like to see. All right. So I want you to understand something before we continue, okay? In order to build something different and to be different, you need to be honest with yourself, okay? And this is what I talked about earlier, honesty. That's why I fucking love honesty, okay? It takes a different level of self-awareness to build something different. To build something unique, you need to understand things about yourself and know things about yourself that you didn't previously know, and that other people don't know, right? Which is why we went through this entire fucking questionnaire. It is impossible to make something unique from a position of being unaware. Impossible. All right. Sorry. I get really like passionate about this shit, and like my heart rate goes up. But anyways, keep going. All right. After this questionnaire, you're probably experiencing a level of self-awareness that you have not yet experienced before, because nobody is intentional about self-awareness, right? Nobody is like intentional to go through this stuff. Like, some of you guys have maybe been through some of these questionnaire things to uncover things about yourself, but this one's unique because it is intentional to really guide you in the efforts that you need to make to push your brand and to build your brand, right? So it's a little bit scary, right? But that's what the 18 question framework should have unlocked inside of you. That is what I am hoping that I can pull from in you. And it's not hit yet. It's not hit yet. It's starting to hit. I know that some of you guys can feel that it's starting to hit, but once you are quiet in your room, once you don't have me talking in your ear on your screen, once you are looking at that Google form, all right, and you're like, damn, what is the answer? Right? Like what is my answer to that question? And you really dig deep. That is when you will understand. That is when you will really, that's whenever it'll hit. And it'll be like, damn, I know myself so well now. And you'll feel way more confident in yourself. You'll feel way more honest with yourself. You will feel that like a mask has been lifted off of you, and you will fucking like be like, oh my gosh, like this is who I actually am. Like, fuck, like I didn't even know this shit. I was ignoring it. I wasn't aware of it, right? And awareness is like, telling you awareness is a gift from God, all right? But here's the deal, okay? Honesty, true clarity, true vision to build yourself and your brand is like our goal, right? That's like the whole point of this. But building a clothing brand is not going to be easy. Let me reiterate that. This is not a like little school project, okay? This isn't a get rich quick scheme. This isn't a fucking, there's a 8-step video on YouTube that's 16 minutes long, and I'm going to watch that YouTube video and then I'm going to fucking make $1 million. Like, no, that is not what this is, okay? And anybody that says that it's easy, building a clothing brand is easy, right, is fucking wrong. Like, they're wrong. They're either clickbaiting a video. I feel like I've probably done that before, but like just to get people to watch the video. But it was like a 40-minute video talking about how it wasn't fucking easy, right? If they say it's easy, then they're lying, all right? This shit is not easy, and it shouldn't be as easy. Anything fucking good, anything cool is not going to be easy. It should not be easy. Like if you think anything cool that's ever happened in the world, any of your favorite songs, any of your favorite movies, any of your favorite actors, any of your favorite fucking pieces of art, anything that was really truly cool, if you think it was easy to make, then you're lying to yourself, because that's fucking like, it should be so painfully obvious that that there's no way it was easy to make, okay? And a clothing brand isn't either. If you want to make this a work of art, if you want to make this something truly special and unique, you need to accept now this is not going to be easy. And anybody who says that it's going to be easy is lying to you, all right? Because I'm just going to put you on a little bit of like what the responsibilities of a brand owner like myself is, okay? This is just to name a few. Number one, product showcase. Product showcase is the showing of a product, the science behind showing a product. How are you going to show a consumer audience a product and convince them to buy it, right? How are you going to show it in an appealing way? How are you going to frame the product in your content, in your ads, whatever? Editorial. Editorial is the basically artistic visual display of who your brand is, what your brand is, the communicating content, the communicating factors that display, okay, visually I understand who this brand is and what this brand is, right? Team and infrastructure. That's a whole fucking basket of worms that you guys won't need to get into now, but like that was a wake-up call for me. Like, oh my gosh, that was like the fattest lock-in moment of all time. Whenever I realized I needed a really good team, a really good infrastructure, a really good way to dial everything in, really good comms, really good task management, all right, campaign ideation. You guys have seen probably some of my fucking like Millen notes and stuff where I ideate my campaigns, where I like list out, okay, this is our fucking time we have to work with. These are our platforms to work with. This is what we're going to post here, what we're going to post here, what we're going to post here. All right, you guys have seen all that shit. It is not fucking simple. It's not easy. It's hard. All right. It's a responsibility that is heavy. It is a heavy responsibility. Number 5, tactical operations. Tactical operations, I'm not even going to fucking talk about, because that's just a whole fucking can of worms. All right. And this saying is something that somebody said to me recently, and it's so simple, but it's so heavy and meaningful. And it's the saying that basically heavy is the head that wears the crown, basically alluding to the fact that as the king, as the guy with the power, as the guy with the glory, as the guy with the money, as the guy with the life that we all want, right? We all want to be the king. We all want that life, right? We all want to be the king, at least of our own world. As the guy living that life, you bear more responsibilities. You've all seen fucking Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility, right? It's the same concept. That is a concept that you will never escape. You will never escape. You will never escape the fact that if you want something great, if you want to do something great, if you want to be somebody great, if you want to have power over yourself, over the people around you, you have to have responsibility. You have to take responsibility for yourself. And this is something not a lot of people will do. I know people personally that are like my friends and shit that won't even do this. I know people personally that are my friends that will not accept the fact that if they want to be a fucking king, if they want to wear a crown, they need to take responsibility of a massive amount of like things to get there. It's as simple as that. If you want to be jacked, you need to be responsible enough to go to the gym every day. You need to be responsible enough to lock in your diet. You need to be responsible enough to hydrate every day. You need to be responsible enough to eat your greens, to eat your veggies, eat your meat, get your protein goal. Like, this is responsibility. That's what I'm saying, right? So building a brand is responsibility as well. It requires learning. It requires research. It requires work. It requires execution. It requires sitting down and working on your shit, even when you're not fucking, even when like it doesn't make sense to, even whenever you're tired and you're like, fuck, I have no energy. I just got home from work. I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? Even when it's fucking hard. Okay. So I always thought I could figure it out by myself. And I thought that was the only way, because I'm that type of person. I think I'm fucking, like, I think that I'm unlimited in my abilities. I think that I can do everything. And I have known for a while that I can't. I've known for a while that I can't do everything, that I can't shoulder all the weight. And I kind of stray away from that idea. I always get distracted. And I always get pulled away from the frame of mind of, like, thinking that I can do everything, myself. And I always go back into it. And this Black Friday was a great example of that. This Black Friday, it was like 2 days before the drop. And I was like, okay, well, the guy who was doing the website photos flaked on me. I've got to fucking make all these lay flat, like, white background images myself. I've got to make the catalog myself. I've got to make the drop post myself, while also doing all the quantities, while also distributing the social media content, while also managing the logistics, talking to the manufacturers. And whenever I went to Japan, I very quickly, I just had this awakening. I was like, holy fuck, like, this just brought me back to, like, life, in the event that, like, I can't do this by myself. I need my people. Like, I need people around me, because number one, I will struggle too much. I will not be able to bear it by myself. And number two, there's too much to do. There's too much to do by yourself. At my level, where we're doing like a lot of orders, it's too much to do by myself. I mean, we dropped 36 pieces on Black Friday, moved thousands of units. That is too much for one person to do everything by themselves. And in Japan, whenever I was writing and I was really reflecting and really observing what I could, that was one of the biggest things I walked away with. One of the biggest things I walked away with, and one of the biggest things that I have put into change, which is, again, one of the reasons I'm moving back to LA, so that I can be hands-on with my team, within proximity of my team. I can work in person with my team frequently. I can train them so that they can take responsibilities off of my plate, right? I had Connor fly out here, and he stayed here working here for a few days so that I could train him and how to speak with the fulfillment team, how to manage logistics for both foreign and domestic, right? I took Caleb to China, right, so that I could teach him the process of making clothes, right? Teach him how to talk to a manufacturer, how to get clothing made, so that he could take that responsibility off of my plate, right? I've had hours and hours and hours of meetings this month, because I realized in Japan, if I want to do this for real, I cannot do this by myself, right? I can't learn everything by myself. I can't do everything by myself, right? And I shouldn't try. I shouldn't even try, all right? And you guys do not need to figure this out alone. This is why I make videos. This is why I've made, literally at this point, probably over 100 YouTube videos. Maybe not over 100 YouTube videos, but a fuck ton of YouTube videos that are like 30 minutes long, 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes long, going into all of this stuff, is because I know that, like, I couldn't figure it out by myself. I tried for years, and I fucked up, and I banged my head against the wall for so fucking long, and I tried to figure it out myself, and I could not do it. And that's okay. All right. So what we've built today is a foundation. This is where you start. Okay. This is where your brain is going to start this path of, okay, now I have a direction that I'm going in. What are the next steps to walk in that direction? All right. I know I'm not going over here. I know I'm not going over there. Where am I actually going? All right. I'm going this way. You know that based on the answers that you have today, the answers that you will have further after this call, right? And in the next day or two, right? You know what direction you're going to be going in, right? And then it's about taking the steps to go to that direction, right? Then it's about, okay, we've identified a clear path. Now, what are the steps to go down that path? We know our destination. We know what the destination kind of looks like, a vague idea at least. Now let's go, right? We see like the island, it's foggy, but we know which direction to turn the ship and sail to. Now it's about figuring out how do we move the ship over there, okay? Achieving that is an entirely different story. A lot of that will be what we get into tomorrow, all right? And if you don't have the right system and the right strategies to get there, you don't know the right stepping stones, you are not going to get there very quickly, because you're going to like think, oh, well, if I can go over here and I can go over here and I can go over here, maybe I can get there eventually. And you're going to try all these directions, just like I did. Been in the same shoes. I've done all that shit, all right? And results like these from Siler, from Umair, right? I mean, we'll show you guys some more. Like this is Umair's year. He did 76 Black Friday, which is crazy. Fucking insane. Olga, again, super proud of her. Tyler, super proud of him. Been working for him with a while, all right? These guys are killing it, okay? But the reality was, whenever I was trying to figure it out by myself, whenever I wasn't working with other people, whenever I wasn't talking to other people, learning from other people, right? I fucked up bad. And I told you guys, I lost $30,000, all right? I got fucked bad because there was no 2026 blueprint. There was no YouTube live stream. There was no Marshall Cruz YouTube. There was no fucking, there was one YouTube channel that taught me how to use tech packs, and that was it, right? There was old Virgil videos, but Virgil videos just talked about how to make clothes, right? They didn't talk about how to make a brand. All I had was that, right? And just trial and error. Okay. And that I lost so much time, so much money, so much resources. It took me way too fucking long to understand what I do now about direction, strategy, and execution. And I would probably have a $10 million brand. Maybe not a $10 million brand, but probably I'd be damn close if I had just some direction in the beginning. Something even just like this live stream. Okay. Something even just like this fucking YouTube channel that I have. Or like anything, right? Even the TikToks, all right? I made lots of mistakes, cost a lot of money, a lot of time. This was just my first mistake, the most memorable one. The $30,000 mistake where I got sweatpants from Pakistan. They washed them double, shrunk them all, and none of them would fit the customers. So we had to go and buy another bulk order. It cost me $30,000, lost all that fucking money. And then I was set back a lot. Actually went into debt because I had to figure that shit out. And being in debt fucking sucks, number one. But I don't want that for anybody else. I make these videos because I know what it feels like to beat your head against a wall trying to break through, and to hit your head really hard and feel the blood start dripping down your nose and feel you start getting dizzy. I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to be in debt. I know what it feels like to be under pressure. I know what it feels like to fail miserably after working so hard to build up to a drop, and then fucking the drop flop and nobody fucking buy it. I know what it likes to buy. I know what it's like to buy 300 hoodies and to think, oh shit, we sold 300 shirts and pants and hats last drop. We could probably sell 300 hoodies. This hoodie's fucking fire. I love it, right? And then realize that the hoodie didn't suit my audience, and then only sell 100 hoodies, have 200 hoodies that are just sitting in a warehouse in California, right? And having not made my money back after being already financially stressed. I know what that's like, and that shit fucking sucks, which is why I have created what I have created today. It's why I make videos. It's why I make content. It would be so much fucking easier. It'd be so much easier for me to just do my own thing, do my own brand, only do my brand, right? But I know what that's like, and I truly do believe that God has put me on this earth to make things both with my brand, with my content, and with my YouTube, right? That serve my younger self, that provide what my younger self wanted, just like my mom back before I was even born, went through cancer, right? And then made those books and made those backpacks to support cancer patients. She didn't have to do that. She's a stay-at-home mom. She had 4 kids to deal with, me and 3 others, 1 boy, 2 girls, right? She didn't need to do a nonprofit. Nonprofits don't make money. It doesn't benefit her personally at all. But she did it because she went through something really, really difficult. And then she decided, hey, this fucking sucked. And I want maybe some other people to not have to deal with what I dealt with because it fucking sucked. And because I hated every second of it. And because it was hard and I didn't know how to navigate it, and there was nobody to help me navigate it. So I want to be the person who helps other people navigate their shit and helps other people maybe avoid all the trial and error that I had to go through. For my mom, it was avoid the unknown and the uncertain for where your mental goes when you're going through chemotherapy and you're afraid you're gonna die and your mind goes here and here and here and you start panicking and you fucking start doing shit that you wouldn't do if you didn't otherwise think you were gonna die, right? She wanted to do the same thing, and I want to do the same thing, all right? I want to do the same thing because I don't want other people to go through what I went through. All right. I want other people to skip the wasted money. I want other people to skip the years of trial and error. I've been working on this brand shit for my brand personally for 3, but I was working for other brands for 3 years before that, learning everything. All right. I want to provide a bridge for people to skip that shit because swimming across that body of water sucked. And if I can build a bridge and I can say, hey, here's a bridge. Here's a little nugget of information. Here's a raft at least. Here's a plank of wood that you can use to get across. I want to do that. All right. So if you want to build your brand and this is something you really, really care about, right? After filling in all those questions, if this is something you really, really, really care about, I want you to throw a me in the chat. I want you to show some fucking excitement. I want you to show some enthusiasm. I want you to show some fucking, I want you to show me, you know what I mean? I want to see that. I want to see that because I've been on stream for 4 hours now collectively between yesterday and today. And I've put a lot of effort in this and I want to see some excitement. I want to see some passion. I want to see some commitment to this shit. Okay. I want to see people who want to, because I need to just, you need motivation to keep doing this shit sometimes. You know, it's not easy making those YouTube videos. It's not easy building out these presentations, these slides, and I want to see that. Damn, fuck. I just looked over. Looks like you guys, yeah. I'd love to see that, man. Hundreds of me's already. Fuck yeah. This is exactly what I want to see. I absolutely love this. This is so inspiring. And the fact that this isn't a Kai Cenat chat where people are on here trolling and have been in live streams at their desk eating potato chips all day. This is people who want to build something. This is a chat that is full of people who are hungry for some dope ass shit, who are hungry for some for a better fucking future for themselves. And that's inspiring. And you guys should be inspired by this. You guys are not alone. I know a lot of us feel alone in wanting to do this clothing brand shit. You guys are not fucking alone, all right? There are people just like you, plenty of them. Look how many me's are in that chat. You're not alone, all right? There's me, obviously, but there's also hundreds and hundreds of other young people who have a dream of building some dope ass shit, who have a dream, whether it's a clothing brand, a jewelry brand, a fucking spoon brand, a napkin brand, a candle brand, whatever the fuck it is. We all have a dream of building some shit that makes us happy, a dream of building something that is an extension of us that feels oh yeah, people know that and they know me too. They recognize that and they recognize me too. Just like in those slides I showed you where the personal brand was 100% reflective of the actual brand. I absolutely love this. I love to hear it, all right? And this is why I built Urban Unity. Some of you guys know about Urban Unity. Urban Unity is something that I have been working on similar to what I built today, and it's essentially a curriculum, all right? Urban Unity is a path. It is a curriculum. It is it's a community. It is a guidance. It's a compass. It is basically everything that I needed whenever I started my brand and everything that I needed to navigate the waters to get to my island, right? The waters to get to where I needed to go, all right? Urban Unity is my version of what my mom's care packs, right? Her, Got Your Backpacks, the nonprofit, the book, the backpacks to encourage people. That is my version of what she made, right? She built that to help people that are in the position that she used to be in, and to provide them with something that the world did not provide for them already. For me, there was no Urban Unity, all right? So let's talk about what is Urban Unity, okay? Let's talk about the Urban Unity pillars. Number one, like I said, it's a curriculum, all right? This is university. I built this basically to educate in the same style that colleges do, except for I'm actually giving you applicable information, all right? This isn't some fucking sociology 1101 bullshit, all right? This is a syllabus, a step-by-step syllabus, all right? And I have basically these steps from 1 to like, I think it's like 65. And if you go through every single one of these steps, you are basically guaranteed to succeed in some way, shape, or form when it comes to this brand ship. All right. And I've tested this for a year. Most of you guys don't even know this. Most of you guys don't even know that I've been building this for over a year now. And I've been testing this syllabus and testing this curriculum to make sure that those 65 steps, I think it's 65, lead to one place and one place only. All right. And that's our curriculum. That is basically it's like my first version of a book. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell you guys all the time, I want to write a book one day. This is my first kind of version of a book, okay? And alongside that curriculum, I have also built a system to basically track your progress, to grade you, right? We have homework submissions. We have tutorials on how to do the homework, and the homework is basically the assignments. The homework is doing everything that's in the syllabus, just like in college, all right? And I also have built a system to grade your submission. So basically, maybe step 1, build your website and install a password page to have on there whenever your site is closed and you don't want to take orders, right? You submit the homework, we grade it, we give you personal feedback. I probably have a slide. I think I have a slide in here where I can show you guys what that feedback kind of looks like. And we can give you a grade on what you're doing based on how you did, what we think you could do better, and then submit it to you again so that you can submit that again, all right? Number 2, I have exclusive resources within Urban Unity, all right, my manufacturers. We've honestly like done a lot of crazy things with these manufacturers. Most of my coaches have used all of them. A lot of my students have used all of them. They're proven. They're the ones that I use personally. And the ones, I've used a lot of manufacturers over the course of the time, just testing and stuff. And so have my other coaches. So have Nick, Callie, Trey, Evan, all these guys. We've all used a lot of manufacturers. We've tested. We've gone through the bullshit of the bad ones. We've compiled our personal list. This isn't public. This isn't online. This is our personal list of the manufacturers that we use that have proven to give us actually good shit. Number 3, we provide personal accountability, right? You are assigned someone basically to check in on you, all right? To check in on you, to be there every single time you need someone to answer your message, whether it's myself, one of the other coaches, Mark, our client success manager, so whoever it needs to be, right? We're basically there to like hold your hand in a way. We are there to answer a question anytime you have a question. We are there to give you a resource anytime you need a resource and maybe you can't find it. We're there to help you make purchase order decisions. I can't even tell you how many times somebody is about to place a bulk order and they come to Mark or myself or to Nick and they say, hey, we're going to place this bulk order for, 1,000 red hoodies. And it's $30,000. Should I do it? And we're like, hold up. Let me save you $35,000 and back up. Let's restructure this. And the amount of times I've been able to like redirect somebody away from the same mistake that I made that cost me time, that cost me money back in the day is actually fucking insane. It's one of the things I'm most proud about. Right, and then beyond that, it's tailored support, all right? We write you guys plans, essentially. Like, we're going to write you a roadmap based on everything that you have told us, your situation, your goals, everything that you have, your leverage, what you have available to you, right? That all goes into account to write you essentially a plan, like a roadmap to go exactly where you need to go, all right? So starting your brand, big part of it. Designing your brand, actually making clothes, okay, another big part of it. Marketing your brand, so actually selling the clothes after you make the clothes. Dropping strategically, which is something that nobody really talks about and gives people insight on, right? And then reinvestment. Reinvestment is huge. That is how you grow the brand, right? Again, going through this, starting your brand, designing your clothes, designing your brand, designing your content, designing your art direction, your design language, making your clothes, right? Marketing your brand, dropping strategically, which is campaigns, the marketing concept, and then reinvestment. And reinvestment is huge. Nobody knows what the fuck to spend their money on. I just watched a kid on TikTok spend his drop profits on a G-Wagon after his second drop, knowing damn well what profit margins look like for what he was making. And he just spent all his money on a fucking G-Wagon instead of growing his brand. And like, like even him, I could have helped. You know what I mean? And yeah, this is basically what I just showed you guys is exactly what I wish that I had whenever I was in your situation. Just like my mom did with Care Packs, with her book, just like I've done with my brand. It's the kind of like the reason I created my brand. Created this for the same reason. All right. This is basically just, again, it's exactly what I needed. It is exactly what I needed whenever I was young and had a dream for a brand and wanted to build something meaningful and wanted to build something that I was absolutely in love with. And I wish that this is just basically for the younger version of myself. That's kind of how I designed this. All right. And this is kind of like a little bit of a look at what our support looks like. So for example, Elijah's submission for building a reference package. Basically, we just give him complete feedback. We give him a grade. We give him, obviously a reiteration of the homework and kind of like everything that we think was good about it, and everything that we think needed to change about it. All right. And this is probably one of the things I'm most proud about, because this is like, if I had been able to just show somebody something somebody with authority and say, hey, is this good? Like, can I keep going? And them say, nope, let's stop. Let's change this because you're going to fuck yourself later on down the line. If I had that, oh my fucking God, I would have saved myself so much time, so much money, so many mistakes. I would have saved myself a lot of archives off my Instagram page of things that I don't like that I had done previously that were like screwing me up. I would have made different decisions in how I communicated with my audience. This is fucking huge, whether you realize it now or not. So I want you guys to click the link in the pinned chat. It should be here. If you guys are interested in this, if this is something that you want, okay? If this is something that you want, I'm not forcing you to do anything. I don't need you to sign up. I put a lot of work into this. I put a lot of effort into building this. I have put a lot of time me and my team have. And over a year at this point, lots of investment in our tech, in our group, in our employees, in our team. And I think this is, I know that this is personally the best opportunity that you will have to educate yourself, to have guidance along the execution path. I know that it is the best opportunity to learn and to have a community of people who are all learning with you, right? A chat that is full of the yeses, right? A chat that's full of all of the yes, me too, I'm in the same boat. A chat of people just like you, right? A call full of people just like you. This is the best shit like on the market for the person I'm speaking to right now. I have talked now for 4 hours just to dial in a specific type of person. I've talked for 4 hours. I have said things that will vet the people watching me, that will clear out the people who do not, who this wouldn't be exactly for. I have spent a lot of time making sure that I am speaking to specifically who I feel this is suited for. All right, because I would never try and sell something to somebody who doesn't need it. All right, but I have spent 4 hours making sure that I'm speaking to the person who will benefit from Urban Unity, and this is where we're at. It is now, how long are we into this stream? We're like, I don't even know, 2 hours and 20 minutes into this stream. This is where we're at, all right? 5 hours of instruction. If you are still here, I'm telling you, this is the best opportunity for you and your brand. This is the best opportunity for you to push yourself, to educate yourself. And I am like, you don't even have to like hear it from me. I'm actually going to bring on one of my students here in a few minutes. If you've gotten this far through both days, none of this information really matters without implementation. Obviously, again, I've told you guys this time and time again, right? Like none of this really matters until you decide to implement it. And that is literally like, that's what I built Urban Unity for. That is what Urban Unity is for. So while you're filling out your application, I'm going to show you guys what's possible. And we are going to get on the phone. We're going to get Christian Miller. He is one of my favorite people that I have gotten the pleasure to work with. He started with us a few months back, 3 to 5 months back. I think it was about 5 months back last September, I believe. And since then, he's done $120,000 in revenue across 2 collections and 3 drops, all of them sold out. He's built a following of over 70,000 people across all platforms, his Instagram and TikTok, and his personal. And he is absolutely killing it. And I think he is one of the greatest examples of just finding something that was truly him and taking it to build a business, even though it didn't seem like it's not even like it's not a streetwear brand. And you guys are going to hear in a second, right? I'm actually going to bring him in right now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, I know I kind of cut off Christian a little bit here, so I'm going to let him talk a little bit more. He was basically going over, his whole story with the brand and with his brand and joining Urban Unity, kind of what happened after he joined. I'll let you share a little bit more about your experience and about kind of like what you've observed, because I know you've done a lot of observing. Research is, a thing that really every good brand owner is, again, like Christian mentioned, is a student of the game. We're a student of this shit. We're always learning, and myself included. What have you observed from being in Urban Unity and watching, some of our other students and, operating yourself? What have you observed has been kind of like some of what contributed to the biggest changes and success in yourself as well as some of the other students?
Yeah. So what's been big for me is having someone in my corner that is always there to answer a question. Like ultimately, like you said, like stuff's going to go wrong. Like there's going to be problems that you're going to run into. Like, for example, our first drop that we had, my pants came in and every single button was not sewn on properly by the manufacturer. And it was everything was almost going to fall off. And I still remember like hopping on that call that night when I received them the night before my drop, talked to Callie, talked about problems, solutions. And I ended up taking them the next day to the seamstress, got everything re-sewn on. And it really is having someone in your corner to like answer questions and help you through what you're ultimately going to run into, because it's never going to be sunshine and rainbows when building a brand. Like it's really hard, like you said. So having someone in your corner to be like, okay, they've done this. Just ask them, what would you do in this situation? Okay, this is what you do. All right, great. Now let me attack it. And it really does get you past those roadblocks that I feel like will hold a lot of people up. And you can ask the question and implement it as fast as possible. And then your next roadblock, you ask about it and implement it as fast as possible. So it's every single call, even if I'm not asking the question, someone else is asking a question that either I could learn something from or learn something new. There's always something to learn.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I like to think about Urban Unity is kind of like a robotics class or like a wood carving class. Whenever, you're growing up, you're in school and everything, and, you're given an assignment, you're given the blueprint, you're given how to make the project. You're supposed to connect this wire to this, circuit, or, put the knife here and carve in this fashion to get this result out of the wood. And that's what you are done. That's kind of like how you're instructed. And then beyond that, obviously there's demonstrations. I do a lot of demonstrations personally in my call. In my calls, I do a lot of presentations and a lot of live work. So a lot of the work that I do, I actually do with screen shared. And it serves as kind of a lesson and a presentation. And so not only do you get to watch the wood carvers, you get to teach, you get to learn from the wood carvers, because we do a lot of just teaching and lessons in general. You get to watch recordings of the wood carvers teaching you how to do that, and then you get to carve the wood yourself and ask questions, because we're always there. We're always there watching. Somebody is always there to answer a question, whether it's a coach, whether it's Mark, whether it's Jack, whether it's Brad, whether it's Alejandro, anybody there who is working within Urban Unity with us, and that's our biggest thing that we're like really proud of is the interaction. And even sometimes from our students, like our students are so interactive and are so there to help everyone. And sometimes somebody will ask a question and one of our students will answer the question before any of us can get to it. You know what I mean? Like just because everybody's walking the same path, everybody's dealing with the same struggles. They're all dealing with the same struggles of, working through issues on the website or working through issues, in inventory or in negotiations with their manufacturer. And this is just, if everybody's in the same boat, we're in this together. You know what I mean? And there's never a moment where you feel completely lost. And I think for me, that's one of the biggest reasons why I created this, you know, was because I felt whenever I was building my brand that there were so many moments where I was like, dude, I just feel completely lost. And what does lost mean? Like, you're never lost with people. You're lost by yourself, right? If you have other people there, there's always a chance to figure out where to go. You know, there's always somebody with another idea. There's always somebody that's been there and done that, right? There's always somebody that maybe has a little bit more experience. Maybe they can light a fire in the forest that you're lost in, and you don't know how to light a fire, but they for some reason went to Boy Scouts or whatever, knows how to light a fire. Maybe one person knows how to catch fish using a stick and some hemp cord or some leaves or some shit, right? Maybe one person knows, hey, you can eat those berries, but you can't eat those. You know what I mean? And that is the beauty of this shit, is we're lost together. We're students learning together. We're going down this path together, and what one person doesn't know, another person does, right? And that is legitimately like the beauty of what Urban Unity is, and I'm like honestly just very proud of who we are and what we've built and the people that are a part of what we're doing. I mean, it's genuinely like such a gift in my life. I love talking to these guys. I love, you know, working with everybody, and it just like literally like makes like my inner child, like the inner version of me that like went through all this stuff without any support, so happy to be able to do that. So yeah, I think we'll do a little Q&A, and honestly, like we could even involve Christian in the Q&A later on in a few minutes. I want to go through a few more things, a few more last words. But maybe Christian can hop back on for the Q&A if you have some time. But yeah, well, everybody, this is Christian. I'm very happy he was able to come on and share his experience. And again, one of my favorite people to work with. Christian, you're a dog. You're a beast.
Thanks.
I appreciate
it,
you.
bro.
Yeah, of course, man. We'll talk soon. I'll talk to you after the call, if not during the Q&A. Sweet. Okie dokie. How do I get back on my... Let's see. We're gonna have IT come in and fix the presentation. But yeah, guys, that's Christian Miller. Christian's a dog. He's such a great dude. Just a really, really hard worker, and somebody that I respect, a student that I respect. I respect everybody who commits to this stuff, and I respect everybody who will show commitment to the dream, you know, that they have, specifically a dream that I share. You know, I think it's fucking awesome. But yeah, that's Christian, and we shall keep rolling. Okay, that can be you too. Obviously, you know, Christian is not special. Christian's not a Nepo baby. Christian is not, you know, a genius, a marketing genius. Christian has the same problems that I have, the same problems that I had, the same problems that you guys have, the same problems that everybody building a fucking brand has. All right. You heard him. He's talked about, he's brought so many like problems that are just like quick, easy fixes to me that maybe I think is like, oh, that's a simple fix. Let's do this, this, and this, and this, and let's fix it. Right. But back then, whenever I was in his shoes, I was like, holy shit, like, I don't know how to fucking fix this. Like I'm cooked. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm really, 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 really happy with him, and really, really happy with honestly all of my students, Tyler, Olga, Eli, Braden. I could sit here and name students all day. Kobe, you guys might hear from Kobe tomorrow. Kobe might come on and speak tomorrow. I mean, yeah, Umair, all these guys are actually like, yeah, I'm just so proud of everybody, and I'm proud to have built something that is beneficial to my younger self, and to be able to just see that visually and like hear that visually and hear that like, yes, this helped me, and like I'm very grateful. Like, this is awesome, right? That means a lot to me. So again, the application, if you guys do want to be in Urban Unity, you guys do want a piece of this, the application is going to be in the pinned comment in the chat. Take your time with that. All right, we've got a little bit of time. Don't rush it. Take your time. Be intentional with it, okay? Because I don't work with people who aren't intentional. All right, and you might be thinking, you know, now's not the right time for me, but the right time never comes, guys. The right time's never gonna be here. Everybody's thinking, oh, it's the right time. Let's talk about New Year's resolutions, right? We all know the New Year's resolution, or oh, well, like, now's the time. A month in, oh, well, I've got this stress. I know I got that gym membership, you know, on January 2nd, but low-key, I've just got all this stress in my life, and I just don't think it's time. There will never be a fucking time where your life is perfect and it's the right time to do something because there's nothing else going on. There will never be perfect conditions. If you are still under the impression in 2026 that there will be a right time and that there will be a perfect time, that will ever fucking come, then I'm sorry, but like you're behind, and you're going to stay behind until you can move out of the mindset of thinking that like there is going to be this perfect moment that's like, oh my gosh, everything in my life is perfect. Everything is perfect. Like, no, that doesn't come. Does not come. All right. So go ahead and get that out of your head, because right time is never coming. Okay. Best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is today. Yeah. This is a saying that I've kind of lived by for a long time. Best time to start my brand was 5 years ago. I started 3 years ago. I wish that I'd started fucking 5 years ago, but you know what? 3 years is the second best. Okay. For you guys probably wish that you'd started your brand a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, right? Second best time today, not last week, not a year ago. Maybe if you want to figure out how to time travel, maybe you can go back and start it. But for me, I don't know how to time travel. So the best time is today. Okay. So I would encourage you guys to start. Okay. And if you're thinking, and before we get into this is not free. I'm not giving you guys something free. I'm giving you guys a directive for free. I'm teaching you guys for free. I'm doing this webinar for free. I'm doing the YouTube videos for free. But what I've built, what I've invested in, what I've spent a year building, what gets people real results, that is not free. Okay. And I'll tell you this right now. Okay. Because I'm not trying to mislead you. I'm not trying to coerce you into buying something. Again, I don't need your money, but I have to operate this, and this is not free. And if you're thinking, I do not have enough money to invest in this right now, if that's you, I want you to know that everything doesn't need, again, to be perfect. There will be no perfect moment. Your first drop doesn't need to be perfect, okay? You can get started with what you have, right? And you can invest more as you make more. Okay, the first step is learning this shit, all right? A lot of you guys, I've talked to a lot of people who are like, oh, well, like, you know, I don't think I can afford it. You know, I have this money for this drop saved up. I don't want to like spend the money on that because I'm gonna spend it on the drop. On what drop? On like you're gonna spend $4, $5, $6, $8, $10,000, $20,000 on a drop. Your first drop. That is like the worst thing in the world to do. All right. So I want you guys to know beforehand, I'm not trying to take your first drop's money. Okay. I don't want you to spend that. I want to teach you how to spend your first drop's money. I want to direct you on how to spend your first drop's money. All right. And a lot of you guys are thinking, oh, well, I can just learn this from YouTube videos. Okay. If you learned it from YouTube videos, you would have done it already. You would have done it already, okay? And YouTube's not updated. YouTube is not current, up-to-date information. Urban Unity is the most updated information that exists on building a clothing brand, okay? I'm telling you, we are the best at what we do. There is nobody, absolutely nobody, that comes close to what we have built. And I know this because I've seen the results. I've done my research. If you think that I'm building a team of like 10 to 15 people to help people with their brands succeed, recording 50 to 60 video modules, getting on the phone for 2.5 hours twice a week, and then paying other coaches who are skilled in this area to also do the same thing. If you think I'm doing that, without researching other people and knowing the space, then you're dead wrong. I have worked my ass off to make this the best opportunity for anyone to learn about clothing brand shit from a unique perspective. And I don't teach you guys ecom. I don't teach ecom. All right. I don't teach you how to fucking, you know, like I don't teach black hat MRR. I don't teach all this bullshit that e-commerce teaches. I teach you honestly everything. But like what I teach is like a lot of what we talked about in this call. It's a lot of the semantics. It's a lot of the financial stuff. It's a lot of the investment stuff. It's a lot of the really, really like nitty gritty. This is how you set up your Klaviyo. This is how you set up your email, your SMS. This is how you want to post on Instagram. This is where you're going to be positioning your content. This is how you're going to film the content. These are the concepts you're going to make. This is how you're going to sell the clothing. This is how you're going to make, graphics for your clothing. This is how you're going to hire designers. This is how you're going to find a good manufacturer. This is how you're going to communicate with that manufacturer, right? I'm teaching the entire array, like the whole fucking journey. Nobody else has a curriculum. Nobody else has a homework system. Nobody else has a feedback system. Nobody else has this many badass brand owners teaching in an education opportunity Nobody, not even close. Every single other opportunity to learn is completely incomparable. And I would go out and like look for yourself. Do your own research. Ask people what they think. You know what I mean? Ask people what they think. Do your own research before you invest in anything. I'm always going to be an advocate for that. Don't spend money on something you think that you don't need. All right. The reason I waited to even talk about this until 5.5 hours into my instruction in this workshop is because I don't want people who aren't serious to even know this exists, because I don't want them to waste their money. All right. If you're still here, there's 800 plus people on this call. If you're still here, then you are the right person. If you're still here, this is beneficial to you. And I've forcibly vetted everybody who's watching this by waiting 5.5 hours and putting you guys through 5.5 rigorous ass hours to make sure that the people I am offering this to are only qualified people, only the people who are truly meant to do this shit, who truly want it bad enough to wait 5.5 hours and we're not even on day 3. We're not even on day 3. To actually like find education, to find information, to find this shit. All right. And that is why I'm offering it to you. Okay. Because I think it's truly going to change lives. It's already changed lives. It's already changed tons of people's lives. All right. It's changed my life. It's changed my students' lives. It's changed a lot of my employees' lives. And yeah, it could change yours too. So, the biggest thing about Urban Unity though is, step by step. All right. We talked about the ship. We talked about the island covered by the fog. The step-by-step, all right, understanding the path to get there, and having somebody literally holding you on the side saying, hey, I've got you, just keep going, do this next, all right, do this next. So that's the whole thing. That's the beauty now. There's nothing like it. There is not a single other company, not a single other business, not a single other person, influencer, coach, mentor, whatever the fuck you want to call them, who has done that. It is genuinely I built what I didn't have. That's what Urban Unity is. It's exactly what I wish that I'd had. So to familiarize with you guys with who you're gonna be working with as far as coaches, right? Oh, they spelled my name wrong. Awesome. First, myself, obviously. Second, Trey. Trey's the owner of Six Shooter. A lot of you guys might have seen him on social media. If not, you can go look up his brand. He's a fucking killer. Nick is literally my cool uncle. Nick is a e-commerce just genius. Like, Nick is the guy that I go to when I have a question about anything. Nick is genuinely Nick does like $12 million a year, like with his stuff. Like, he's beyond all of us. Like, he's a absolute god tier coach to have, and he is he's done in-person stores, he's done online stores, he does e-com, he does storefront retail. Like, he's a fucking badass. And then Callie's one of my oldest friends in the space. He's actually the one that inspired me to start making gym clothing videos way back in the day. And he has his own brand. He's been working for 5+ years. He is designed for clothing brands. He's done his own brand. He's been a creative director for lots of other businesses. Right now he's working on a coffee shop. He's just a dog. He knows what the fuck he's talking about. He's really, really good with design. And each of us have calls throughout the week, right? So I take 2 calls. I take a call on Tuesday and I take a call on Friday. These are typically around 2 hours each. Trey takes a call a week, Nick takes a call a week, and Callie takes a call a week. In each call, we cover something different because we're experts in different areas, right? Trey is better at actually the assembly of garments and the application process for designs than I am, right? Nick is better at e-commerce and the website stuff and the technical stuff than I am. Callie's better at working with suppliers than I am. I'm better at working with content and working with marketing and working with positioning and identity development than anybody else is. And we all teach different things, right? Which is why it's really nice, because you're not just getting me as a coach. You're getting people who are better at other things than I am to teach you to basically multiply myself, except make myself stronger in a different way in each form. And there's a call every single day. Well, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, where you can hop on. Anybody can hop on. You can ask questions. You can learn. Obviously, there's always a lesson or a presentation or a demonstration or something. It's fucking awesome. Also, this is just a few wins that I'm going to go through. Eli is one of my favorite students. He's like more of a beginner, but he did really well. This is actually pretty recent. This was right before New Year's. Open pre-orders, $10,000. You plan on applying, get your application in. I want to answer some questions for a little bit, just so that you guys can get your application in before we close up. And yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it. 2 a.m. still here, working 6 a.m. Hell yeah, dude. That's sacrifice. I love to see that. What are your opinions on running a brand while in college? I don't like school and I've been running my brand for a couple of years now. Definitely want to do full time. I mean, again, I'm going to say the same thing. Best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time's today. Okay. I will not tell you that, it's bad for you to run a brand while you're in college. Fuck college. I personally, I'm not going to tell you to drop out of college because I don't know your life circumstances and I don't know the nuance of your situation, but I will tell you that starting a brand is not fucking going to the military. Your life isn't over when you start a brand. All right. Yes, there's hard things that you will come across, but your life is not over. You work at your own pace. You know what I mean? It's not like this is going to take over everything. You got to break up with your girlfriend, leave your family, go to an island by yourself for 20 years. No, you work at your own pace, dude. So start now and work at your own pace. Let's see. If I want to learn more like you, can you tell me what system you follow to learn more and more? Dude, I'm a student of the game. Like I said, I just try. You know what I mean? I just try. I research a ton. I'm observing all the time. I'm writing all the time. I'm doing interviews with my students who have the best. This is something we do. We do a lot of interviews with our best students just to kind of figure out what's contributing to their success. Because we take a lot of effort and put a lot of effort into, making it push people and making it as easy as possible for people to find success in their brand. And the ones that are successful, which is more and more and more. I did 3 student interviews just this week. We basically pick apart what pushed them the most, and we double down on that, and we invest into systems to support that. And that is how we've gotten Urban Unity to be as successful as it is at pushing, brand owners and aspiring brand owners to level up. So, manufacturing problem. Just received my samples midway through and they're ass. I'm hosting an event in a month and a half, selling clothes that my clothes are the way to cover the cost. What's your next move? So your next move is to, number one, figure out why your samples were ass. Figure out why your samples were asked, what they did wrong. Make a super in-depth revision sheet. I always say a good designer makes a tech pack. A great designer makes revisions, right? Revisions are the most important. Your first samples are always going to be ass. Your first samples are always going to be ass, and that is okay, all right? But it's about how you revise. It's about how you revise. You need to be intentional with your revisions. You need to get educated, and you need to be intentional and very descriptive with your revisions. You need to order those samples. You need to do them as fast as you can. But dude, this is another thing that we teach. We teach timelines. All right. If you planned an event in a month and a half and you have clothes that you wanted to pay for it with clothes, you kind of needed to know to start earlier, because clothing is not something that you can just turn on a dime. You know what I mean? Best case scenario, what you do is you abandon the project, you make different clothes. Maybe you source blanks from a domestic a domestic source, maybe a local printer, and you do some really simple shit with blanks. Or maybe you could do something like print on demand. There's a lot of print on demand solutions, and you could maybe get some stuff turned around really fast, but it's not going to be probably the best quality. If you want to make the best quality cut and sew stuff manufactured overseas by the big dogs, you need to start earlier. Let's see. What's the best way to gain traction in the beginning as far as engaging content plus the product solid? So my favorite way to do this is going to be user-generated content, which is basically content in which the user, which is going to be the person filming the content, interacts with the product and educates people on the product and showcases how the product is used. That is probably the most top of funnel and engaging piece of content that you can make in terms of advertisements for your brand right now from the get-go. Right now, video content, specifically short form, is the only format that is put into discovery first category. Discovery first category is basically like a system where the content is shown to new viewers before viewers from home, right? Which means that basically like videos are getting views from non-followers, photos are not. And if you want the best video that makes the most sales, then you need to show the content, show the person engage, or show the product, and show the person engaging with the product, just like the TikTok shop ads that you guys see, but in a more tasteful, artistic way. Let's see. Is it harder or worse to start a clothing brand in school? I think it's easier to start a clothing brand in school than it is to start a clothing brand while like working. Simply just because like school is one of those things that like if you don't do good in school, like your like it doesn't mean your paychecks, like you're still like you don't have rent on the line. You know what I mean? It's like school. You get a bad grade. Oh no, I got a bad grade. That means I won't have as good of a chance to get a job later on down the line in 4 years once I'm $100,000 in debt working the job that I don't actually want to work, but my parents told me that I want to work. Or, you know what I mean? Like, then again, I'm getting into shitting on college. I'm not shitting on college, guys. I don't want to set a bad example. Let's see. What content to post when you... Oh, fuck. The question disappeared. Do you recommend starting your brand alone or with a friend? I recommend starting your brand alone and then finding friends who also have a brand alone, which is what Urban Unity is for. The whole point in doing let me talk about starting a brand with friends. Starting a company with friends in general, is a nightmare. It is not something that I ever want to do. And like business and friends do not mix. No. Why did my shit turn off? Hey! Why did that shit just turn off? Why did that shit just turn off?
What turned off?
The fucking stream. No, it's not. It's just there we go.
We back.
Oh gosh.
Don't worry.
Maybe I like pressed a button or something.
Don't worry about it.
All right.
They were on
We
the
good.
application. They weren't even looking.
Okay, we're good. My bad, guys. I think I like tapped a button or some shit and everything just stopped. Okay, my drop failed. I'm sitting on 24 hoodies. I've only sold 2 and the others were defective. Should I move on, lower the price, continue to sell them? What would you do? Okay, so if your drop failed, it could be for a number of reasons. It could be that the product was not good enough. It could mean that the marketing was not good enough. It could mean that the product did not see the right eyeballs. The right eyeballs didn't see your product. It could be that your site was defective. It could be a number of things. What we'd need to do is just kind of like audit that. Again, this is what we do in Urban Unity. But honestly, there's a number of things. If more than likely you got a lot of views and a lot of people who showed intent to purchase but didn't get a lot of sales, then it was probably either your website or your product, or like some friction there. But you need to find the source of friction, right? Well, you need to find the gap in data. You need to find the gap in results. Did you not get views? Did you have a faulty website? Did you get views and have a good website but no purchases? If it's no purchases and you have good views and a good website, right, and you have good feedback, then your price is too high, right? And it's really all about figuring out where your gap was, like figuring out where you fell short in the entire process. Let's see. I want to do my first drop soon. What's the best way I can do it? That's actually a really broad question. There's like a ton of good ways to do it, but I would suggest, this is a very general, broad answer, but I would suggest working on like actually building the brand, working on the questions that we talked about, right? I would suggest, then, dude, like, that's such a broad question. I need to know so much more. You need to know so much more. That's the whole reason why we went through this whole, this whole Q&A. It's very important. Should we hire a designer? Hiring a designer is probably a necessity if you don't have experience designing. I would not waste time learning Photoshop, because you're basically going to waste time to become a mediocre designer, because the best designers work for pretty cheap. Like good designers work for pretty cheap, and they've been using the platforms Illustrator, Photoshop for years now, right? So it doesn't make any sense to try and learn graphic design yourself unless you're just like super hell-bent on learning that part of the process and acquiring that skill. I'm not. I'm totally okay with like giving a designer an idea of what I want to do and then letting him kind of take it from there. So I would say in general, yes. Like you do want to hire a designer. Let's see. What do you honestly, what do you honestly think about going to college if by that time you're making $20K a month? Dude, why would you be in college? Unless you just love what you're going to school for and you can't wait to just clock into work doing the job that you're going to school for, I would never do that. I would absolutely never do that. That makes zero sense. That's why I dropped out of college. I dropped out my senior year. So I can say college sucks because I went until my senior year. Let's see. Which role should I hire first and which one should come second? Okay, so this is going to be a subjective question simply just because it's going to mainly depend on what skills you have and what skills you don't have. That is going to be the biggest thing. If you are really, really good at designing, you wouldn't hire a designer. If you are really, really good at making content, you wouldn't hire a content creator or somebody to shoot your content. If you're really, really good at websites and e-commerce, then you wouldn't hire somebody to do e-commerce, right? I was good at content. I was okay at designing. So my first hire was somebody to help me with Shopify, somebody to help me with like e-commerce in general, right? So you really need to do something. I call this the weak point recruiting framework. I actually have like a pretty in-depth like whole thing on how exactly to do this. But basically, it's identifying weak points in your own skill set in accordance to what skills are needed to build the brand, and then hiring with adherence to those weak points. That's my favorite method. So I messed up, I lost money, and I'm stressed at school and building my brand. What's one thing you wish you knew starting out that would have saved you all that struggle? Wish there had been Urban Unity. I wish Marshall Cruz's YouTube videos had been there. No, but on a real note, in your specific situation, I wish I had known a million different things. I wish I just had all the skills. But I really think that I wish I'd known to take it a little bit slower, right? To take it a little bit slower with my purchase orders specifically, not slower with my effort, slower with my desire to learn or my journey to learn, but slower when it comes to buying bulk orders. Like that has been one of the things that we've been able to do best for people, is just save them money. Like the amount of times where somebody's bought like, a fucking like $30,000 bulk order and then sold like 10% of it. And they're like, bro, I'm fucked. Like, I don't know what to do. Like that's a scary ass thing. Even buying like a fucking $5,000 bulk order, these people will save up like $5,000 and then make a purchase order, which is a bulk order, and have zero way to sell it, and have zero testing done on the product, have zero idea if people actually even like the product, and then they'll get their bulk order and try to sell and like make zero, make like 5 sales, and then boom, you're out $5,000. The fuck, like that? What could that $5,000 could have gone so much further. The $5,000 could have put you so much further ahead, and now you're behind. You know what I'm saying? That's literally why I built this shit, is because I know what it's like to do that. I know what it's like to buy a $10,000 purchase order and to sell a third of what you expected to sell and not even make your money back. Then now you've lost money. Now you put in all this effort and you haven't even fucking made any money. You lost money. So you lost time, you lost effort, and you lost money. I don't want that shit for anybody, which is why I created this shit. So, anyways, let's see. Question: is it worth it to run a pre-order? Or is it better to save up for the job? Honestly, I think it's 100% worth it to run a pre-order. We've seen indicators within the industry that pre-orders are acceptable, specifically in times where you want to drop multiple things, like several different items. We saw from Black Friday, lots of brands doing pre-orders, lots of established brands that didn't previously do pre-orders. So I would say for your first drop, it's 100% excusable. Like, you don't need, like, you're not going to get shit on for not having it in person, and you're going to make sales still, as long as you communicate clearly that you are doing a pre-order. How did you figure out how to make content that gets views but isn't cringy and keeps professional look on the brand? I have 20K for my brand, but it's from trendy cringy content. We have a whole like process for this, as far as like discovering what your content design language looks like, what your branding looks like, and it's really all about picking the right reference points, right? Everything is about reference points. The reason that your content is like trendy and cringy is because you picked the wrong reference points. You just need to find better reference points for content, and by reference points I mean inspiration, like inspo content, like other content that you really like that is tasteful that you can replicate. Let's see. Do you think it's possible to start a clothing brand with no finance? With no money at all? No. You need to get a job and you need to make some money and you need to save some money. If you have literally no money, then yeah, you can't start any business without money. No business is free to start. That's what business is. Business is taking on a risk first, financial risk typically, and then hoping to get a greater return because you're the one who took on the risk. That's what business is. So no, if you have no money, you cannot start a brand. Like, unless you have a homie that's willing to go in it with you, or you're willing to leverage debt. But I personally wouldn't leverage debt. I would just get a job, save up some money, $1,000, $2,000, something like that, and like start it from there. Let's see. What's your best clothing advice for fusing a sport into a clothing brand like lacrosse? It's not just graphic tees. Identify garments worn in the sport. Identify garments that players of the sport like and wear. Identify culture that players of the sport and fans of the sport appreciate. Identify design elements within the sport that you can observe and sew into your content, your ideation, your culture, your creative display, your editorial, and build a brand off of that. Establish a mission, right? Establish the mission, build your identity, go through all the questions, and then that would be my method. So, okie doke, guys. Well, that was a great day 2. Day 3 tomorrow. Gonna get into some more nitty gritty stuff, but before we go, I'm gonna give you guys one last chance to apply. We still have that link pinned, so we answered a few questions. We went in really deep today, and I'm proud of you guys for sticking around for that. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna read through every single application. My team is actually waiting on me. I've gotten like 4 or 5 texts saying we've got a lot of applications to review. So I'm going to go and I'm going to fill up my water bottle again. I'm going to have a little bit of caffeine, a little bit of Red Bull. I'm going to start digging.